Hey everybody, tonight we're debating whether or not the Quran is dangerous, and we are starting right now.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here for another epic debate. If this is your first time here at Modern Day Debate, want to let you know my name is James Coons and I'm your host as we are attempting to host neutral debates in the most fair way possible. We want to give everybody their shot to make their case on a level playing field. And so I want to let you know, no matter what walk of life you are from, whether you be atheist, Christian, Muslim, you name it, folks, we are thrilled to have you with us. Thanks for being here, and want to let you know as well, folks, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button right now, as we have a lot of epic debates coming up. You will see at the bottom right of your screen, folks. You won't want to miss this. This is coming up on Monday, and you'll want a notification because we're going to have Dr. Ben Burgess, who is a professor, going against Pastor Douglas Wilson, he was actually the kind of co-star, you could say, of the hit documentary Collision with Christopher Hitchens. And so it's going to be epic, folks. They'll be debating whether or not atheism is immoral. So you don't want to miss that, folks. It's going to be epic. And with that, I want to let you know a couple of other quick housekeeping type things. First, we are on podcast. So if you pull out your favorite podcast app and you type in Modern Day Debate, do that right now and let me know if you can't find us on there. We will work to get on there so that, hey, I'm really, you guys, I'm thrilled. I'm so excited that tons of people are downloading the podcast, are finding it useful, and I'm so encouraged by that. So we hope that it's useful to you. And so, yes, pull out your favorite podcast app, see if we're on there. And we are excited, folks, to get into tonight's debate. I want to let you know we are so thankful for our guests. Want to let you know it's true. Tonight is a controversial topic. Want to ask you, folks, please remember, attack the arguments, not the people. So, hey, actually, 100%, just, be rabid, be vigorous in attacking arguments. That's where we want the focus, on the arguments, not the people. And with that, we are going to introduce our fine people with us. We're glad that they're with us tonight. And so we'll start with AP, Apostate Prophet. We're thrilled to have you here. What can people expect to find at your link?
Well, thank you so much for hosting this. I'm Apostate Prophet Ridvan Aydemir. My link, I'm mostly working on talking about Islam specifically, also sometimes about religion in general, but generally, but mostly about Islam. And I focus on criticizing Islam, which is my former religion, which I practiced for many years very devoutly and diligently. And yeah, that's what you can find if you visit me.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, AP. We're thrilled to have you. And Nadir, we're thrilled to have you back. Glad you're here. What can people expect to find at your link?
Well, you can probably get updates on the latest debates, which I'm having. I debate several different topics like Quran and modern science, some refutations to some people, and just basically some question and answers on Islam. So you could probably come to my YouTube page and subscribe to get updated on the latest debates.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Nadir. And with that, folks, want to let you know we are going to jump into the opening statements. I'll give you a quick gist summary on the format, and then we'll go right into it. So format is simple. We're going to have 10 minutes from each side in terms of their openings, starting with AP. Then we're going to have for 50 to 60 minutes, we'll kind of play it by ear, see how the conversation goes, where it'll be in 2-minute intervals. So just to kind of keep it, where we are making sure that everybody gets equal time. That's important to us. And then we'll go into about 30 minutes of Q&A. So if you happen to have a question, feel free to fire it into the old live chat. If you tag me with @ModernDayDebate, that makes it easier for me to get every question in the list for that Q&A. So thrilled to have you here, folks, and thrilled to have our guests. So I have got the timer set on my side. And so AP, when you are ready, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. I'm going to share my screen quickly. We just figured that out that I can actually do it while having myself on the screen and that. But I hope it works. Okay, I'm starting. So first off, thanks to James and Modern Day Debate for hosting this important debate, and thanks to Nadir Ahmed for participating in this. Let me know if this looks okay and sounds okay. Okay, wonderful. So again, thanks to James and thanks to Nadir Ahmed for agreeing for this crucial debate. It is kind of unfortunate, I think, that so many Muslim voices and apologists and scholars, among all of them, Nadir Ahmed is pretty much the only person who is willing to come and have this debate in public. Although the debate is a question about a question that is so extremely crucial. Is the Quran dangerous? This is a question that is on everyone's mind. If you make a simple Google search, stay with me, for the most dangerous religion, you will see that Islam is here everywhere. You will find Islam immediately. That is not because Google tells us the truth about which one is the most dangerous religion. This is because this is on everyone's mind. This is the public perception about Islam. Isn't it interesting that we constantly talk about, when we talk about Islam, we constantly talk about how violent and hateful and intolerant and morally questionable it is? I mean, which other religion is constantly talked about as this violent, intolerant religion, this religion that we are supposed to be scared of, this religion that spreads so much terror in the world? The reason that Muslim apologists are not widely engaged in debates on this topic is not that they are not interested in the topic. No, on the contrary, Muslim apologists, scholars, voices everywhere constantly spend so many resources, so much of their time defending Islam, fighting Islamophobia, trying to explain that Islam is not dangerous and that we have all somehow misunderstood Islam. But they refuse to honestly talk to us to get to the bottom of this problem. And I hope that we can address this problem today. To me, a former Muslim who has basically committed social suicide by leaving Islam and criticizing Islam, the answer to the question is pretty clear. The Quran is dangerous. Islam is dangerous. Dangerous is an understatement. If you picked only a very few specific verses from the Quran, you could be introduced to the false impression that Islam is quite compassionate. Sorry, let me remove myself from here quickly. That Islam is quite compassionate, that it deals justly with the people of the scripture, which are the Jews and Christians. Or some Muslim apologists will selectively present Quran verses like one to you, which says that Muslims are not forbidden from being just and righteous towards those who did not fight them. But pay attention to the wording here. It says that Allah does not forbid you from being just and righteous. It doesn't say that you must be good to the disbelievers, that you must treat them equally, you must love them like you love yourselves. That would be indeed that would be very far from what the Quran really says and what the Quran really is about. So let me get to that. If you start reading the Quran, you will be very quickly introduced to the Quran's strangely hostile attitude toward the reader, the disbeliever, and everyone and everything. It starts with, within the first 2 minutes of reading the Quran, it starts saying that this is a book about which there is no doubt. And then immediately it starts bashing everyone who disbelieves. It says that those who disbelieve, for them is a great punishment. Allah will punish them. That they are deceivers who try to deceive Allah and deceive the believers. That in the hearts of disbelievers, or those who pretend to believe, there is a disease, and that Allah is increasing that disease. It says that the disbelievers are deaf, dumb, and blind, and that they will not listen and not obey. And this is only the beginning. According to different numbers, taken by different individuals and groups, the Quran deals in the majority of its content with hate, with disbelievers, and threats and hellfire. If you go further into the Quran, it describes those who do not believe in Allah, the disbelievers, as the worst of living creatures, or it describes the disbelieving Christians and Jews and the polytheists as the worst of creatures. This is directly mentioned in the Quran. I mean, just think about how awful and dehumanizing this is. If you look at a different verse, chapter 7, verse 179, it likens the disbelievers to cattle and then adds, rather they are more astray. Just think of how this book, which is the central text of Islam, believed to be the eternal speech of Allah, dehumanizes others and treats them as unworthy, low creatures, lower than cattle, used for milk or meat, for example. I mean, the Quran refers to us disbelievers, you disbelievers, again and again as deaf, dumb, and blind, sick, deluded, dishonest liars, not to be trusted. And by us, I mean, I'm not including myself here because I'm an ex-Muslim. I'm someone who has left Islam. And for us, for people who have left Islam, Muhammad's words were very clear. Whoever changes his religion, kill him. Pretty clear. If we go on, we can see that the Quran says several times that the Muslims are not to befriend the Christians and the Jews, that the Christians and Jews are friends of one another, and whoever befriends them is one of them. And this is not about some specific historical context to which this is restricted. In no time during Muhammad's life were all Jews and all Christians together united at war with the Muslims and allied to each other. On the contrary, Jews were separate tribes in Muhammad's time and surrounding, and they were all eradicated by Muhammad under different pretenses. And this command not to befriend the Jews and Christians is not something random which you cannot find anywhere. This is directly in Muslim society. For example, here is an image, a picture directly taken from a bus stop in Turkey, which in Turkish presents this Quran verse. The Quran insults the Christians and Jews because it says the Christians worship the Messiah, Jesus, as the Son of God. It also falsely, strangely says that the Jews say Ezra is the Son of God, and it insults them and says, may Allah destroy them. But here, chapter 9, verse 29 is one of my favorite verses in the Quran. It says, fight those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah and His Messenger have made unlawful, until they give the jizya willingly, while they are humbled. So the Quran basically sets a principle, a policy for Muslims universally on how to deal with the disbelievers, to fight them if they do not believe. The jizya, as strange as it sounds, is not a bodily fluid. It is actually a form of protection money taken from the non-Muslim people living in Islamic lands so that they may be allowed to live in Islamic lands under inferior conditions in return for protection money. If they do not pay the protection money, their life is not protected and they can be basically taken and killed without any consequences. Yeah, give me a second. So, and this is not simply something that is mentioned in the Quran. This order to fight the disbelievers and to rule over them was practiced in Islamic history from the beginning to the end, throughout Islam's spread to the world. In its fight against the disbeliever, Islam spread on the world map and applied this dhimmi system until the 20th century. And this is not something that I'm just saying. This is actually something that is mentioned in the Muqaddimah, which is a book written by Ibn Khaldun, one of the most prominent historians in the Muslim community. It says, in the Muslim community, the holy war is a religious duty because of the universalism of the Muslim mission and the obligation to convert everybody to Islam either by persuasion or by force. Therefore, caliphate and royal authority are united in Islam so that the person in charge can devote the available strength to both of them at the same time. The other religious groups did not have a universal mission, and the holy war was not a religious duty to them. And this is one of the most prominent Muslim historians. I'm seeing that I actually prepared much more than my time has left. But here is an example from Muhammad. Muhammad is described as the perfect example for Muslims to follow. And here is what Muhammad once said to his followers, very prominently known, a very popular hadith report about Muhammad. He said, I have been ordered to fight the people till they say, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and whoever says that, his life and property will be saved by me. And these are the words of Muhammad. You clearly see that the Quran is dangerous. Muhammad practiced it dangerously, spread it dangerously. Islamic history speaks for itself. The question is easy to answer, and I will further prove that within my responses to Nadir Ahmed in the next half hour or more. But the answer to the question is very clear. The Quran is dangerous. Dangerous is an understatement.
All right, thank you very much. We will kick it over to Nadir. Thrilled to have you here as well, Nadir. So the floor is all yours. We'll give you an extra 10 seconds as well. And thanks for being here. I want to remind you folks, both of our guests are linked in the description. If you want to hear more, folks, you can. Those links are at the very top of the description waiting for you right now. So with that, Nadir, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much for that, Apostate Prophet. So the verse which he quoted, I have been ordered to fight the non-believers until they pay the jizya. So Apostate Prophet made this conclusion that, you see, Islam is violent, it's teaching to attack non-believers. But did you know that the Quran actually states only the people who are not peaceful? You didn't know that, right, Ridwan? It states that in the Quran. So there's a lot more than that. He said basically that, the Quran teaches that you don't have to be good to the disbelievers. It also explicitly states in the Quran, you must be good to the disbelievers, and we'll get into all of that today. Now, he was zigzagging, going from the Quran to the Hadith, going to different commentaries. And in that zigzag, what he's doing, he's trying to cover up a problem. 95% of what he stated is actually not in the Quran. For example, he said Islam teaches to kill the apostates. This is not in the Quran. Nevertheless, I do want to talk to you about that, and we can clear up your confusion on that as well. So then he said he felt insulted by Islam, by some of the statements. But that's not what we're here to talk about, whether you feel insulted or your feelings got hurt. Okay, we are here to find out, is the Quran dangerous? So let me share my desktop over here. And let me make it basically show you exactly where in the Quran it says you only wage war against those people who are not peaceful. So let me go ahead and share my desktop over here. So I know this might be a little bit small for you, but we're going to look in the reasons for warfare. You're going to find they're all noble in the Quran. We also find in the Quran, it specifically says you do not fight innocent people. And then we're going to look and see peace. That Islam clearly teaches you don't fight peaceful people. So we're going to go get into all of this. But before we do that, I actually had a discussion with a guy named David Wood. And so we had a little discussion on this. In fact, if I could find out where my little thing here is. I can't find it. But anyways, and unfortunately, that video, basically, there was a video clip in which me and him were in that. However, that right here, I'm sorry, I lost my thing, in which they claim that I have changed the topic. I want everybody to understand one thing. This is a hoax. Our debate was deliberately edited to make it look like I changed the topic. You can listen, you can go to my YouTube page, look at my response, and I hope that nobody will deliberately edit this debate in that same kind of dishonest manner. So, okay, I just wanted to throw that out over there. So let me go ahead and let me show you where in the Quran does it explicitly state you do not fight peaceful non-believers. This is the 491 spot check, chapter 4, verse 91. It says over there, you will find others who want security from you and security from their people. But whenever they are tempted into civil discord, they plunge into it. Now, this is very important. Listen to this. If they withdraw not from you, nor offer you peace. Did you see that? Please underline that statement if you have the Quran. Nor offer you peace, nor restrain their hands. Seize them and execute them wherever you find them. Did you see? So it's not just a one-time killing. So the Quran is clearly teaching you don't kill. It doesn't say innocent civilian. That word is not in the Quran. But a definition of what an innocent civilian is in the Quran. Again, what is that definition? If they do not withdraw from you, nor offer you peace, or restrain their hands from fighting you, then it says you can kill them and seize them wherever you find them. So it says, and we have made for you against them a clear authorization. What is this authorization? 929, go out and fight. So the Quran makes it very clear from this definition, you do not fight, you do not basically kill innocent people, and you do not fight peaceful people. So let's take a look at another reference. In fact, and this, if you notice, most of what Apostate Prophet brought up wasn't actually in the Quran, but we'll get into that. So now he said basically, in fact, let me get to another reference over here. Yeah, so I want to give an example from the Hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, here is a statement. Actually, there was a group of people who actually he basically had a war with, and the context was The non-believers, the Quraysh, the non-believers whom he was defending, committed horrific atrocities against the Muslims. They were killing them, engaging in religious persecution and torturing. So they have to fled from Mecca to Medina. So now, in response to that, now they came after them and they still won't stop. So it became very clear they're not going to stop until they force all the Muslims back into idolatry. So then a war was basically commenced. That's the historical background. This group of people were called the Quraysh people. So here we find over here, Muhammad now sets an army to go out to fight, to basically protect the homeland. And listen to what it says over here. He's going to fight these people, the Quraysh people. It says over here that, again, going through the whole long list, the people of Al-Awaba, they basically sent a man to make peace with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now what happens here? These are the disbelievers, which apostate prophet was complaining about. Look, you got to go fight the disbelievers. They said, listen, we don't want to fight. Look what the text here says. This is from Sirah ibn Ishaq. I'm sorry, I forgot to give you that reference. He says, then he returned to Medina without meeting war. Did you see that? So this is very important. There are many battles which took place inside the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there's maybe thousands of pages of historical records. You will never find anybody in the Quran or the Hadith or in any literature of innocent people being fought just because of their religious beliefs or because they're, quote, non-believers. You will never find anybody like that. And if any of the non-believers want peace, look how Prophet Muhammad grants them peace and basically walks away. Why? Because God said inside chapter 4, verse 91, the 491 spot check, it says, if they are restraining their hands, they're not aggressively coming towards you, and they offer you peace. If they're not doing this, then you can go ahead and kill them. So here we see the 491 spot check in action over here. So this is a challenge for apostate prophet over here. Show me in the Quran and if you can't find it in the Quran, you should state it. It's not in the Quran. You should state it rather than zigzag it. Hadith, Quran, commentary. Be honest and say apostasy laws are not in the Quran. So we're going to come after him tonight and we're going to extract that confession out of him. What's really in the Quran and what's not there. And then the challenge here, show me in any of our literature. If you can't find the Quran, fine, then go to the Hadith. If you can't find it there, then wherever. But show me where any innocent people or people who are non-believers were fought on the account of their religion. You will never find this. Okay, so now let's get to the final RIP. So we're basically RIPing his argument. So what is the reason for war? What does the Quran actually say why you should why there's war? Now let's listen to very carefully why the Quran is actually saying what are the reasons for war. It says over here, and why don't you fight in the cause of Allah? Allah returned the question back to you, apostate. The helpless man and women and children crying out, "O Lord, deliver us from this town whose people are oppressive, and appoint us for one." And then it goes on. So the issue here, a presence of a protector. This is why Allah has issued jihad. And you will see, let's go on to, and then here comes a shocker. On the why you should go out and fight the non-believers. Over here it says, inside chapter 22, verse 40, were it not that Allah repels one people by means of another's, monasteries, churches, synagogues, and masjids where God's name is being mentioned would have been demolished. So the purpose of jihad, the purpose of war, according to the Quran, is to protect the religious freedoms of all of mankind. So now here's the second challenge we're going to ask apostate. Where's all that fight them till you convert to Islam? That whatever that quote, in fact, let me get that exact quote he was saying. Fight them till you, or till everybody becomes Muslim. Fight till Islam is a religion of the land, or any of this stuff. I would love to see that in the Quran. And again, my challenge to you is, show it to me first in the Quran. If it's not there, then just say, look, it's not in the Quran. Then we can go and look in other sources, and that's fine too. Because remember, the subject of tonight's discussion is what is specifically written in the Quran. So that's the reason. So RIP, this is why Islam is a religion of peace and why Islam is a religion of truth. Because the reason for warfare, as you see on your screen, and this is the only reasons you're going to find, are noble, and it's a great war ethics which the whole world should embrace. Secondly, because it looks out for innocent people. Hey, whoa, the 491 spot check. And it explicitly states you do not wage war against peaceful people. And so I guess my time is up. We'll go ahead and start this 2-minute back and forth.
Thank you very much, Nadir. What we will do, folks, is want to let you know, as Nadir had mentioned, we will have 2-minute intervals. And during that time, the speakers will give each person their chance to make their response. And so want to let you know that will be very controlled. And also want to let you know as well, folks, we are very excited to let you know, yes, in case you hadn't heard, folks, we are pumped about this Monday's upcoming debate on whether or not atheism is immoral. So that should be a juicy one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell for that one, you guys, and that's pictured at the bottom right of your screen. So with that, thank you so much, gentlemen. We are going to kick it into those 2-minute intervals. We'll start with AP. The floor is all yours.
So I find it very funny that Nadir Ahmed actually, I have no clue what just happened. I think many people who are watching this don't know what really just happened. Nadir Ahmed suddenly started completely accusing me of going into different directions, but then was all over the place. I don't know what is going on. He declared me the loser of this thing already. But one of the funniest things that happened here is that he made a claim at the very beginning and said that most of what I presented is not in the Quran. I think he even gave a number and said that 90% of what I said, of what I presented, is not in the Quran. So I went back quickly and thought, let me check what I gave. So I looked at the sources that I just gave, and I even left some out because I gave them in bulk. But the sources that I gave 12 sources in my opening statement. Of those 12 sources, 9 of them are from the Quran, 2 of them are from the Hadith, which are reports about Muhammad's actions and words, and 1 of them is from a Muslim historian, and I specifically specified that those are from Muhammad and from the historian. So, to be very specific, if you want a percentage, Nader, 9 out of 12, which means over 75% of the sources that I've given you were actually from the Quran. So I don't know why we're starting this with such big dishonesty. I understand that this topic makes you uncomfortable. He asks for proof that the Quran says to fight the disbelievers and to convert them to Islam, and yet I have given it directly. In chapter 9, verse 29, it explicitly says that one should fight those who do not believe in Allah and His Messenger. It doesn't say fight those who are cruel or unlawful or whatever. It says fight those who do not believe in Allah and His Messenger and who do not make unlawful what Allah and His Messenger have made unlawful until they are humbled and they pay the jizya. Those who do not believe, not those who are evil oppressors. Nadir.
That's 2 minutes. Thanks very much. We'll kick it over to Nadir.
Yeah, let me first clarify. I didn't declare you the loser already. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my desktop over here. So, and we'll get down to we'll get down to the bottom of what's going on over here. So I am going to challenge you here in front of everybody. I gave the reasons why you should fight the non-believers. Chapter 9, verse 21. Why should you do it? It's specific, and I gave the reasons, chapter 4, verse 75. What is wrong with you that you fight not in the way of Allah for those who are the oppressed? And it goes on like that. Here's my question for you. Take 30 seconds of my time. Do you see anywhere in the Quran where it says fight them because, let me make that in bold. There you go. Because all non-believers must be conquered and become Muslims. Is there any verse that you know of like that, Apostate? Take 30 seconds of my time.
It's very funny. The Quran explicitly says, I repeat, the Quran says in chapter 9, verse 29, fight those who do not believe in Allah and in the last day. Fight until they pay the jizya. Fight those who do not believe in Allah and Muhammad. And I gave as supporting evidence to that Muhammad, who says, I have been commanded to fight the people until they say...
We'll get into that. Okay, that's my 30 seconds. I'll only give you 30 seconds, Apostate. Sorry about that. Okay, look, we'll get into that. Why the Quran saying, and fight the non-believers, We'll get into that, and I'm not running away from that.
I
But
thought you were giving me the rest of your time, so I can speak.
no. My question to you, again, I'm going to challenge you. Where in the Quran, because it gives reasons why you should fight the non-believers, but where in the Quran did it say fight them because non-believers must be conquered and or any of the nefarious reasons? So you tell us, so the verse 929 tells us who to fight the non-believers, but why? My question is, in the Quran, it gave many good reasons of why you should engage in warfare. I will ask you a second time, where does it say to fight, to spread Islam, or to convert, or any verse like that in the Quran? Give me the verse.
All right,
Thanks.
we'll give 2 minutes for AP. Thanks very much.
It's very funny. What Nadir Ahmed is doing is he's basically playing with semantics, and he's making a very desperate move here. For example, I will give you a different example. He mentioned before to me that the order to kill apostates like myself is not in the Quran. I agree. I never said it is in the Quran. I said at the beginning it is in the Hadith. It is Muhammad's word. Muhammad says, kill those, whoever changes his religion, kill him. Now, Nadir Ahmed asks me to provide him with an explicit Quran verse which says, kill disbelievers because they do not believe and make Islam superior. He wants this to be spelled out instead of simply accepting the statement, kill those or fight those who do not believe. According to Nadir Ahmed's logic, we should also go to Muhammad's words in which he says, whoever changes his religion, kill him. And we should simply say, well, this doesn't say we should just kill those who, leave their religion, because it doesn't say kill those who leave their religion because they have left their religion. It only says kill those who left their religion. Do you understand how stupid that sounds? I mean, the Quran very clearly says, fight those who do not believe in Allah or in Muhammad and the last day, and who do not implement Islamic laws. It says fight them. In the supporting evidence, the Hadith, I showed it before, Sahih Bukhari 2946, Muhammad explicitly says, I have been commanded to fight the people until they testify that there is no God but Allah and that I am his messenger. So this is his mission, to fight the disbelievers and convert them to Islam, which means fighting and turning them away from disbelief. Converting is to Islam through war. We don't need it spelled out because they disbelieve.
Thank you very much. It sounds like that's his 2 minutes. We'll kick it back over to Nadir.
I'm sorry. So if you notice what's happening, he's going into the issue of apostasy, and we'll definitely discuss that. And he admits this is not in the Quran. Then he says, he gave some other references. All of them are not in the Quran. Why? Because he's running away. You see, this is a very legitimate point here. He's saying, well, why should it be explicitly spelled out? It's stupid. You see, why should I ask for it to be explicitly spelled out? Well, the reason why is because we want to know what the Quran teaches and what it really doesn't. Because you see, here's why I'm holding you to that standard. Because when I said, look, in chapter 4 verse 75, it gave a reason why you should fight. It was explicit. I didn't give any interpretation or anything like that. And fight in the cause of Allah for those who fight you, but do not commit aggression. Okay, so this is a reason why Islam teaches to fight. That's explicitly written in the Quran. What is not in the Quran, and you might think, well, it doesn't have to be explicitly written because the word fight the non-believers is there. Okay, fine, but it looks like from what you are saying, apostate prophet, fight, we can agree tonight that if you are looking for something in the Quran which says fight to spread Islam, fight until they all become Muslim, and fight and you must convert them or kill them. These are not explicit teachings of the Quran. If we can agree on this, then we can go to 929 and look and see, why does it say to fight the non-believers? Why is it worded like that? Can we agree on this, and so we can move on? Because I'm looking for this stuff in the Quran and it's not there. Can we move? Can we agree on this, apostate? It does not explicitly state that in the Quran.
All right. It sounds like you're giving your
go take 20 seconds of my time. Can we agree on this so we can move on?
You got 10 seconds or so, but
apostate, I'm challenging you again. Where is that verse?
I don't want to go into your time. Make your 2 minutes and then...
Okay, so again, I'll ask you explicit verses in the Quran which states exactly what you see on the screen.
Gotcha. And we'll kick it back over to AP.
It's very funny. I'm starting with it's very funny again because it is very funny. It's too hilarious. I just can't resist. But Nadir Ahmed is actually twisting Quran verses here to make it look like the Quran forbids Muslims from fighting aggressive wars or aggressive battles, because that is not really what that Quran verse says. The Quran verse which he showed, for some reason he only shows the chapter. He doesn't really show what chapter and verse it is. He doesn't really go into the source itself. But what the Quran verse, chapter 2, verse 190, in reality says is, fight in the way of Allah against those who fight you, but do not transgress, because Allah does not love the transgressors. It does not say do not fight aggressive wars. It does not say do not declare wars. What it says is do not transgress. Do not transgress your limits. And this is a matter of morals. It is so if I look into the exegesis of the Quran, for example, in the exegesis of Ibn Kathir, who presented one of the most famous exegesis interpretations of the Quran, he says that this is a warning that one should not turn their wars into oppression and cruelty. One should only fight, not oppress. But the thing is, Islam redefines what oppression is and what a just cause is, because Islam says that you should fight those who do not believe. That is a just war, a justification in Islam. And to us, that is dangerous, that is wrong. Nadir Ahmed accepts that Islam orders to fight those who do not believe, but he deals with these semantics and says, well, but not because they disbelieve, but for other reasons. He should clarify and accept that the Quran indeed does order to fight the disbelievers, and Muhammad himself said that in many reports.
Thank you very much. Kick it over to Nadir.
So as you can see, there's a saying, you can run, but you can't hide. He's running away from the fact that in the Quran, it gave many reasons why you should fight. Let me first address his canard about fight those who do not believe. It's already been refuted. I showed you a group of disbelievers who were the Quraysh, okay? He went to go fight the disbelievers. Why? Because, of course, they're committing terrible acts of aggression against them. When they said, listen, go find somebody to go make peace with Muhammad, did Muhammad continue fighting them? No, the text clearly said he then went away. Once you offer peace, because God said inside chapter 4, verse 91, if they offer you peace, paraphrasing, you don't fight those people. So the Quran makes it very clear. Disbelievers who are peaceful people, you don't fight them. And by the way, going back to the story which I showed you about the Quraysh, those were not peaceful people. These were the Quraysh who were engaged in fighting against the Muslims. So their whole, let's just make peace, when they brought that guy out to do it, it's all a farce. It's all a hoodwinkle. But this is the level of, you could say, commitment to peace, which Islam has. And even the guilty people, because in most world wars, they will kill those people because they're the enemy Quraysh. You can just because you drop your weapons, you'll be taken as prisoner of war. But look at Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He walked away and said, fine. In Islam, you will never find peaceful non-believers being fought. I will return back to my question, Apostate, because you've been running away and I need to confront you on this. Where in the Quran does it explicitly say, fight to spread Islam? Fight because they are non-believers. You should just be honest with us tonight and tell us these, if you're looking for these explicit statements in the Quran, it is not there. Now, can you just be honest with us? And just admit this is not in the Quran, so we can now move on. And we can talk about apostasy and all these other issues. Please, Rizwan, be honest with us. Go ahead.
I think Nadir Ahmed has just a big problem that he doesn't really know how to defend the Quran. He doesn't really know how to defend Islam. It is unsurprising to me that he's the only Muslim apologist who is actually willing to come here and to have this debate. He does it because, I don't know, he's pretty confused, and he believes in simply ignoring so many pieces of evidence, twisting Quran verses, as we have just seen, which he has completely ignored too. He has made no further comment about that, and he simply wants me to accept something which simply is not true. He wants me to come to a conclusion with him, a conclusion that he has, but a conclusion that he cannot back up. I mean, I don't think we need to further argue this. The Quran clearly says, fight those who do not believe in Allah and Muhammad and the last day. Muhammad explicitly says, I have been commanded by Allah to fight the people until they testify that Allah is God and that I am his messenger. It explicitly says so. But Nadir Ahmed still wants me to find a verse which says, fight the disbelievers who do not believe in Allah and his messenger because they do not believe that Allah is God and that Muhammad is his messenger. Fight them because they are not allowed to believe in that, and because our religion is a very cruel and very aggressive and very violent religion. Please oppress the people. Please do that. I'm sorry, Nadir Ahmed, I cannot find such a verse, but I can find a verse which says, fight those who disbelieve. And I can find a verse which says, fight until there is no fitna, fight until the religion belongs only to Islam. I can find a verse which says humiliate them. I can find all these verses. I can find verses which degrades and dehumanizes the disbelievers, which you have completely ignored, lying about it, saying that I took those from different sources. Go ahead.
Time. Thanks so much, Nadir.
Okay, so I believe he has conceded in tonight's debate in a mocking way. You will not find in the Quran anywhere where it teaches to fight them because they are non-believers, fight to spread Islam. So when you go to the Quran, you find only noble reasons to fight, which are to protect people. This is what the Quran is teaching. Chapter 4, verse 75, which is, I don't know where it is. Okay, right over here. And then chapter 22, verse 40. Many Christians are surprised that churches, mosques, and synagogues are actually mentioned in the Quran. Why? You should fight to protect that, because that's where God's name is being revealed. Chapter 22, verse 40 of the Quran. These are the reasons the Quran teaches you to fight. So thank you so much for admitting tonight that these things are not in the Quran. Now, here's why it's important. This is an article from the Jacksonville Times, Florida Times Union, I'm sorry. Look what it says over here. The Quran dictates repeatedly that its followers must convert you to Islam or kill you if you refuse to convert. But we all know this is all baloney. From the testimony of Ridwan, or Apostate Prophet, this is not in the Quran. And so this is why I'm bringing this up, because look at all the lies and misrepresentations against our religion. Now, he has quoted a hadith. I have been ordered to fight until they testified that there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. Let me deal with that one very quickly. Notice he had to jump out of the Quran. This is not in the Quran. Why? Because he thinks he can make his case over there. So let me first corner you, and we're going to deal with this hadith one at a time. I know a lot of issues I'm not addressing from Apostate Prophet because I'm juggling here. There's a lot of points here. Apostate Prophet, when Muhammad said, I have been ordered to fight the people until they testify that there is no God but Allah, that there's no God but Allah, and I am his messenger. Are you telling us today that this is a statement, an order, that if they say no, I don't accept you as a prophet or Allah or anything, they are to be killed? So he is to fight them. Is that what you are saying? And then I will address you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So all we're seeing here is again some weird bragging and distracting from the topic. As said, the Quran clearly orders to fight the disbelievers. We are circling around this again and again. He is making it look like I conceded because I sarcastically said, "Oh yeah, it doesn't exist." Such a verse that says, "Please fight the disbelievers because we are so cruel" doesn't exist. Yes, it doesn't exist. But one that says, "Fight the disbelievers" does exist. What Nadir Ahmed does here is also to take a Quran reference, which is Quran chapter 22, verse 40, which speaks of churches and temples and synagogues, and tries to present the Quran as this caring, peaceful, justice-loving book. And I already predicted that in my opening statement. This is something that Muslim apologists frequently do. There is also a different Quran verse, for example, which is chapter 2, verse 62, in which the Quran does indeed say that there is nothing to fear for the Christians and the Jews, and they have nothing to fear, they are righteous and this and that. The issue here is that the Quran that Islam has different stages and the Quran has different tones. These are Quran verses that come into existence under different circumstances. Nadir Ahmed believes that the Quran was a divinely revealed, a perfect word of God, of Allah, which existed forever. I do not. I do believe and know that the Quran was revealed at different times with different verses, depending on circumstances. At the beginning, it was peaceful, then it was about self-defense, then it was about aggression. And the verse that I cited, chapter 9, verse 29, which orders to fight the disbelievers, was indeed one of the final verses, one of the last verses of the revelation of the Quran. That was Islam's last attitude, chronologically, to fight the disbelievers and to oppress. To protect them and love them was only the beginnings of Islam, when Islam was very weak and when Muhammad was among disbelievers, like Nadir Ahmed is currently among disbelievers, which is why he has to sugarcoat Islam so much. And we can find this attitude very commonly in the Muslim world. It is very much known that you are not supposed to befriend the disbelievers, and you are supposed to be wary of them, and you will fight them in the future. But unfortunately, in these discussions out here, we completely disregard these Quran verses, twist them, we disregard the Muslim attitude, we disregard 1,400 years of bloody Islamic conquests, and we try to present Islam as something inclusive and loving, which is simply absurd.
Give me a break. How can I address everything from fight the disbelievers, carrying peaceful book, Quran has stages, first peaceful, then aggressive, don't be friends, bloody. How can I address all this in 2 minutes? Come on. I think Apostate Prophet is getting nervous here, so he's taking a shotgun and blasting me with all these points. Because if you look, he could not find anywhere in the Quran where it explicitly stated, fight them because they are non-believers. The Quran says, but the Quran says, fight the disbelievers. The Quran says, fight the disbelievers. But it has already been explained to him that if the disbelievers are peaceful, you are not to fight them. We gave an example from the Sirah Ibn Ishaq, and we also gave an example from the Quran, and we'll get more on it. So I need to address one issue at a time. So Apostate, I will ask for you to please make it one issue at a time. Now, I want to address this is no longer the Quran, this is in the Hadith. So he had to run to the Hadith, and that's fine. We have basically chased him out of the Quran, and now we're chasing him into the Hadith. But believe me, you're going to be running from the Hadith as well. Now, before I address that, when Muhammad said, I have been ordered to fight the non-believers until they testify that there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. Are you saying that this is a statement where they must be forced and killed if they refuse to accept Islam? Are you saying that tonight? Apostate. Are you making that claim?
Are you done with your time? Or?
This is your argument. Are you saying that Islam is teaching?
Your time?
Okay, notice he's running away, and it's a good thing. But you can run, you can't hide.
Are you done with your time?
Okay, so let me go ahead and address the Hadith. Here is an example of what it means, fight those until they testify that none has a right to be worshipped. It says over here that basically a person stood up on top of Prophet Muhammad. He had a sword on top of him, about to kill him. Then the sword fell out of his hand. And then Prophet Muhammad picked up the sword and he said, who's going to protect you from me? Do you testify that there's none but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet? He said no. Okay, he said no. So let's see what happens next, and we'll catch AP. Go ahead.
I don't know why we keep going around and doing this game where we accuse the other side of running away and losing and getting confused and this and that. And Nadir Ahmed keeps doing that all the time. I gave him only 9 verses or 9 Quran verses, and he treats it like I bombarded him with 200 different Quran verses, which he doesn't have the time to respond to. I mean, we're simply dealing with basic sources, Nadir Ahmed. I don't know what is going on. But here is another misrepresentation that Nadir Ahmed makes, which is that the Quran and Islam does not deal with people on an individual basis. Islam is not an individualist religion. It is not a religion that decides how to treat people based on the individual. It doesn't make rules based on that. Islam is a religion where you are one nation. You are not just you. You're not just a person. Muslims are one nation, and the non-Muslims are one nation. Is something that Muslims say very frequently. This is a very common Muslim slogan. When it talks about confronting and fighting the disbelievers who do not believe in Allah until they believe in Allah, what it says is not to find individuals on the street and force them to believe in Allah. What it says is to confront tribes, confront groups of people, and offer Islam to them. And if they refuse Islam, and if they reject Islam and condemn Islam, to then fight them. In fact, there is a hadith which I might pick up if I can focus on that right now, in which Muhammad explicitly says that if you confront your enemies, your enemy tribes, you are supposed to stand in front of them and give them three options: accept Islam, become subjects and pay protection money, or die. Those are the options, or they can run away. That's the fourth option. So here it gives them options, right? We'll probably go back into the nitpicking and say, well, it does give them options in the end. They can just die.
Thanks much. We'll go to
Okay, thanks. So remember what I said, you have to be honest, apostate prophet. I don't mind addressing all these points here which you're raising. You should be honest that you give them three options: confront and the tribe, a group of people. If they refuse, condemn and fight them. You have to be honest with people and say, this is not in the Quran. Can you take 20 seconds of my time and admit to everybody whatever you're stating is not in the Quran? Go ahead, please. Take 20 seconds.
I already said it is not in the Quran. Stop nitpicking, please.
Okay, so you see, we've chased him.
I already said it is not in the Quran. I already said it is in the Hadith. Please stop making it look like something it is not. And don't give me your time. Be done with your time and I will come to mine.
Okay, let me go ahead. All right. So as you can see, he's being chased out of the Quran. He cannot make his case from the Quran, from the text of the Quran. Let me finish my initial point. It says, I have been ordered to fight until they testify there's no God but Allah. So look what Prophet Muhammad says over here, finishing my initial point. There's a lot of points here, guys. I'm sorry I'm not catching everything here. Okay. So then the sword drops out of his hand. He raised up the sword and Prophet Muhammad says, do you testify that there is none worthy of worship but God and I am his messenger? The guy said, no. So what does happen? Does he kill that person? Look what it states over here. He says, but I promise I will not fight against you, nor shall I be with those who fight against you. The Prophet let him go. He was not killed. Did you see that? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam let him go. He went back to his companions and said, I have come to you from one of the best of mankind. So just because again, this is not all in the Quran. We've chased him out of the Quran because he can't make his case from the Quran anymore. He's going into the Hadith, and we could talk about that. We could talk about apostasy, but I need you to go back into the Quran because that's what this topic is tonight. And just be honest with people and say that the arguments which I'm raising, you're not going to find them in the Quran. They're in the Hadith. So, okay, so now let me go ahead in my brief 20 seconds, ask you to come back in the Quran, make your case from there. If you can't find it, then go to any other place. So we agree that, the Quran clearly teaches, okay, fight the disbelievers. That text is there. But when you look at the Quran, making it clear, not people who are peaceful, and it makes it also very clear, the 491 spot check, then we see not peaceful people. Please refute that. Go ahead.
What's very interesting is that I point out something that exists in Islam, something that Muhammad explicitly said, and something which the Quran explicitly says. As a response to refute that, Nadir Ahmed then goes on and tries to find one specific incident which seemingly where this rule was seemingly not applied, and then he uses that specific incident to prove that what I just said and explicitly backed up, clearly showed is actually not true. This is similar to, let's say we're talking about a serial killer. Somebody who has killed 12 people within the last 1 year. And this guy has admitted that he's a serial killer. and that he simply likes to kill people for pleasure. That's what he does. Now we're talking about this guy, and we're talking about how he likes to kill people, and he just kills them because he likes it. But then Nadir Ahmed comes in and says, "But hey, guys, I have to tell you something. I don't think this guy is a serial killer, and I don't believe that this guy is a serial killer, because there was this one incident where he had this confrontation with this one guy, and he had the option to kill him, but he didn't kill him. Therefore, this guy is not a serial killer. Case closed." That is basically what Nadir Ahmed is doing here. The Quran says, fight the disbelievers until they are humiliated. The Hadith say, fight the disbelievers until they convert to Islam. The Quran says, fight until there is no fitna, no corruption, until the only religion is Islam. We have these verses, but he says, well, in this one incident, Muhammad didn't do that, so therefore, that must not be true. I mean, this is just beyond absurd. It's childish. Please.
Thank you very much. We'll kick it over to Nadir for 2 minutes.
So it was, as you can see, we're chasing him out of the Quran. He's going into the Hadith, but you're not gonna find any refuge over there. He's saying, I'm just finding one instance where this thing happened. I challenge you here tonight in front of everybody. Where in the Quran or if it's not in the Quran, then admit it's not in the Quran. Number one, be honest with people, okay, and just admit these things are not in the Quran. And if it's then say it's in the Hadith, that's fine. And show me in the Hadith where any innocent, or you could say any group of non-believers were fought, who were peaceful, they did nothing to nobody, and they were just attacked and fought. And give me chapter, verse, and reference so we can look it up right here. Just like I am doing the same for you. Everything I have is documented with references. So I want you to take 20 seconds of my time. And you accuse me, I'm just cherry picking some peaceful things out of the Hadith. I'm going to confront you on that. Okay? Nowhere will you, I'm going to challenge you right now. Where were people fought just because of their religious belief? They're peaceful people. Where is that? Go ahead, take 30 seconds of my time.
I take that as the beginning of my time, and I will speak for...
No. I still got... take 20 seconds of my time, because I still got some time after that.
No,
Go ahead.
I don't...
Where is that? Where is that?
When you're done with your time, I'll take my time and talk.
Why don't you want to answer me? If there's something like that, you should just admit it. Where is it?
I am answering you in my own time. So
as for your text, which you said, fight until they are humiliated, that is a fabrication. I'm going to confront you on that. That's not what the Quran says. You said, fight them until there is no more fitna, which is referring to religious persecution and other terrible things. And so I want to take it back over here. You claim this was just one incident I'm giving where Muhammad was peaceful. I want to confront you on that. And I don't want you to run away, just like you ran away from the issue of that the reasons for warfare in the Quran are very noble and peaceful. So show me where that is. Go, it's your time.
All right. Okay, I'm going to correct my big mistake and say Nadir Ahmed does not just have one incident with which he tries to refute the general rule that everybody can clearly see and accept. No, he might have 2 incidents or 3 incidents where something seemingly didn't go the way as is prescribed in the Quran or the Hadith. The point still stands, dear Nadir Ahmed. The Quran explicitly prescribes to fight the disbelievers. And as long as you insist on how that is not true, because it doesn't say fight the disbelievers because they disbelieve, it will just look ridiculous on your part, and we're not really getting anywhere. We're simply, turning in a circle. So if we come to incidents where Muhammad did actually fight people, it is hard to pinpoint at a specific incident, because what we have is that Muhammad did fight all the Jewish tribes which were in his city Medina and eradicated every single one of them. Some he killed and executed to its last member and enslaved the rest, while with others he told them to get out and he basically expelled them and took their belongings or part of their belongings. Muhammad also said in a hadith, now I know he will say we're chasing him out of the Quran because he somehow doesn't want to accept the Quran. We also have a hadith in which Muhammad, for example, says he will expel the Christians and the Jews, while he also says that he came to fight them. And we have these incidents. We have incidents of Muhammad's successors declaring wars. We have an incident in which, as said, Muhammad instructs his armies to go and give the people three choices: to convert, to become subjects, or to die, to fight and die. We have incidents in which Muhammad orders his men to go and destroy temples and to kill everyone who is around. We have these incidents. The issue is that incidents are not what we are talking about. We are talking about the general order, which is directly in the Quran.
Kicking it over to Nadir.
Yeah, so he is, as you can see, we've chased him out of the Quran. He said, fight all the Jewish tribes, eradicate every single one, enslave the rest. He expelled them. And he goes on, he gave them three choices: fight or die. You do admit, Apostate, none of this is in the Quran. Can you admit this tonight? Did you give chapter or verse for anything you're talking about? Apostate, is this stuff in the Quran?
You're giving me 10 seconds of your time again.
Just answer the question. Notice he can't answer the question.
I explicitly said this is not part of the Quran. This is part of this.
Come back into the Quran.
Because you're asking me for incidents. Okay. That's not what we're doing.
That's 10 seconds. Thank you.
Drama. Okay. Stop distracting.
Okay. So see, tonight's debate was what the Quran says about non-believers. This is what you were invited to talk about, and you are not anywhere in the Quran. As for your false information that he eradicated every single Jewish tribe, this is complete fabrication, and now you're making up things. I will give you an example of a Jewish tribe which was not eradicated. Banu Jaf. If you read the Charter of Medina, it lists all of the tribes of the Jewish people. Only like 4 of them were fought, and it specifically says in the Charter of Medina, no Jew will be fought on account of his religion. It is clearly stated there, and we can also look at that text if you like. So again, this is not really the topic. And so most of what he's saying, I want people to ignore and throw away, because he did not give you any reference. It says fight or die, 3 choices. This is another fabrication which he has invented because he cannot make his case from the Quran. But I go back to my original challenge, and notice he's running away. Where in all of the Quran, if it's not in the Quran, say it's not in the Quran. If it's in the Hadith, then say, okay, well, here it is. Where are any innocent, peaceful non-believers fought? Stop running away and answer the question. Go ahead, time is yours.
Nadir Ahmed continues to do this thing where he wants me to present proof that a specific source says explicitly these people were fought, or we should fight these people because they disbelieve, and that's why we are fighting them. I already said the Quran clearly has this order. I say it again and again. The Quran has the order to fight the disbelievers. Muhammad has the explicit statement. In fact, I should have remarked this. The hadith, I say hadith. Please don't tell me I'm running away from the Quran. I don't even understand the whole sentiment of we should be sticking to the Quran. Why are we running away from the Quran? The Quran is not a singular thing by itself, which Muslims practice exclusively. The Quran is the holy book of Islam that Muslims are inspired by. The Quran itself points at Muhammad as a perfect example. So it is completely normal that we also additionally give evidence from Muhammad's life and from Muslims who were inspired by the Quran and the Islamic State, which followed from Muhammad, which was begun by Muhammad. But let me tell you something. Speaking of Jewish tribes, since we have gotten into that, Jewish tribes, there were several of them. It is right, Muhammad did make an agreement when he first came there, because the Jewish tribes were more, and they were quite dominant, quite intimidating, that people should protect each other. But he found different reasons to fight every single one of them. One, he fought because he accused them of treason, which is not something that we can back up. One, because he said that they were preparing to betray him, and then he eradicated them. One, because of an internal fight, and then he eradicated them. He coincidentally found reasons to fight all of these Jewish tribes. And funnily enough, Nadir Ahmed comes here and says, well, one Jewish tribe was not eradicated. Thank you.
Kick it over to Nadir, and I would say we have a few more rounds left before we go into Q&A, folks. So thanks so much, and Nadir, floor is all yours.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We have successfully chased apostate prophet out of the Quran. He's talking about Jewish tribes, and he's conceding to the point. I cannot make my case from the Quran, which was the topic of tonight's debate. Allahu Akbar. Thank you. He keeps talking about fight the disbelievers, and we asked him, where even in the hadith do you find any innocent people? Then he started making things up like, oh, well, he just found different reasons to fight people. Did he give you any reference, any text, or anything which we can back that up with? Nothing. Let it show for the record that he is just making up stories. Now, without further ado, let us go and see the importance of why the Quran made it clear that you need to fight the disbelievers, because God said inside chapter 22, verse 40, that we need to fight to protect the religious freedoms of the of the people. And this is the reason why. If I'm going to get to my reference here, why Allah said to basically fight the disbelievers. We've already given it to you. So the Quran is accusing the disbelievers of being the people of persecution. They're the ones who are committing horrific atrocities like you see right here in front of your screen right here. This is the born-again spirit-filled Christians, Heraclius, inside the land of Syria. I'm paraphrasing here. Please, you got my references. Just please hit pause on the YouTube because I gotta go very quickly here. Here he declared that all the Jews must be killed and exterminated. And then look what this is quoting from the Jewish Virtual Library. We're seeing chapter 22, verse 40 in action here. Look what he said. After the Christians declared and started this terrible persecution, it says, it looked like an end for Judaism in Judea. However, things were going on into the Arabian desert, which within 7 years would change the picture of the Near East and of the whole world. What was going on in the Arabian desert? You got it. Chapter 9, verse 29.
And
fight the non-believers until they are subjugated, saving the Jews from the genocide of Christianity. How do you explain that?
We'll switch it over to AP.
We're not getting anywhere, but can you please stop the screen sharing?
Oh, sorry.
So we're not really getting anywhere with this. We just keep turning around the same thing. But what I find very interesting, this is almost meme-like, is Nadir Ahmed tells me or asks me to present him proof from the Hadith that this and this happened. I then present him a proof from the Hadith or from biographies, and then he says, Allahu Akbar, we have chased him from the Quran. We have chased him from the Quran because he can't find anything in the Quran. Well, you have just asked me to present something from outside the Quran. I then present something from outside the Quran, and then you say, wow, we have chased you away from the Quran because you can't find anything. I mean, this is how ridiculous this debate is really going. Funnily enough, he does this deceptive thing again, where he's giving a specific incident. The Quran, chapter 22, verse 40, refers to Muslims who have been evicted from their homes, persecuted, driven out of their homes in Mecca. This is actually a reference to the early history of Islam. If I knew we would go into that, I would love to go into that, because this is actually something that Muslim apologists frequently do. They misrepresent Islam in front of audiences who do not know the history of Islam. Muhammad started preaching in Mecca, preaching in a very hostile way, insulting the religion of his polytheist people, his ancestors, the people around him. They had fights. They eventually wanted Muhammad to leave, started persecuting them. Muhammad then declared war on them afterwards because they persecuted them. So this is one incident where the Quran says they have persecuted you, fight them. And Nadir Ahmed thinks that this is sufficient proof that the Quran only wants you to fight those who have persecuted you, when we have clearly seen that the Quran says, fight those who do not believe in Allah or in the last messenger. So we are again completely misrepresenting sources here, Quran verses, to make it look like those verses which say fight the disbelievers don't actually say that. They only say fight them because they have persecuted you. We don't have such proof, Nadir. We have clear proof that verses condemn the disbelievers and order Muslims to fight them because they are disbelievers. It doesn't matter what kind of incident you pick out.
And thanks very much. Last section or interval, Nadir.
Okay, so let me go ahead and share my desktop, because he misrepresented chapter 22, verse 40. He says this is only referring to the Muslims who are being attacked. That is not true. Look what it says over here. It said, were it not that God repels one group of people by means of another, monasteries, churches, synagogues, and mosques where God's name is being mentioned would have been torn down. So notice how apostate prophet is now running away from a historical fact. So let's see, the Quran says, fight the disbelievers. But why? Because the disbelievers were the one who were the culprits of committing the type of atrocities which you are seeing, here inside chapter 22, verse 40. How do we know that? We can also go to history. We could see the exact same thing. And I will challenge you again, because the Jews were about to be exterminated by the Christians. And it says over here, the historian of the Jewish Virtual Library says, it looked like an end for Judaism in Judea. However, things were going on in the Arabian desert, which within 7 years would change the picture of the Near East and the whole world, thus saving the Jews. What was going on in the Arabian desert? You got it, chapter 9, verse 29, the marching orders to go out and fight. So again, we have to also go back to these verses, these are not defensive verses. These are offensive verses. Go out and fight on behalf of those who are persecuted. And then finally, I forgot to answer one of his questions just because I was overwhelmed. He said, well, where in the Quran does it talk about being good to the non-believers? One thing we must understand, the fighting verses is not for us. This is just for one person, and that is the Khalifa, who then delegates to the debutantes, which then trickles down. But for the Muslims, for the 1 billion Muslims, what are they ordered to do? It says over here inside chapter 60, chapter 60, verse 5. It says, O Lord, make us not an object of torment for the disbelievers and forgive us. God says in the Quran, pray that you never become a trial, a fitna for the non-believers.
2 minutes.
We are ordered to be good to all non-believers.
We have to wrap up with that. So, want to say thanks very much, everybody. And it's just getting warmed up, folks. We've got plenty more where that came from. We're going to jump into the Q&A, and we are very excited for this. So thanks, everybody, for your questions. Thanks just for being with us, folks. If you've enjoyed this debate, hit that like button. If it's been a pleasure, as it has been for me, we're going to jump into it. This first one coming in from, appreciate your support. Let me make sure I pronounce. Spider the Ateo, appreciate your super sticker. And Wolf Von Hinslick, appreciate your question asked. Okay, we want serious questions, folks. So next up, Jay Mixon. We are for real, though. Only serious questions are being read now. If you send a super chat or something like that, that's goofy. We'll read it in the post credits if it's not attacking one of the speakers. But Jay Mixon, thanks so much for your question. Said, if it doesn't explicitly verbalize violence, however, others misinterpret it to commit acts of war, why isn't it inherently dangerous?
So I think the question is that for me or?
It is, and I'll read it one more time because it is a little bit. So they said, if it doesn't explicitly verbalize violence, however, others misinterpret it to commit acts of war, why isn't it inherently dangerous?
Because, well, first of all, let me make it very clear what the Quran teaches. I'm going to share my desktop over here. The verses which talk about violence, this is not for the 1 billion Muslim people. This is just for the Khalifa, who then delegates to the Muslim army. What is explicitly for us as Muslims to follow, because remember, apostate prophet said, it doesn't teach to be good to the non-believers. Yes, it does. In the Quran, it says, O Lord, make us not an object of torment to the disbelievers. We are to be good to them. And so let's look at what the Quran explicitly teaches. It says over here, it says, when he said Mu'adh ibn Jabal, he says, treat the people with ease. Don't be hard on them. Give them good tidings. And don't fill them with hatred towards Islam. And love each other and don't differ. So this is what we as 1 billion Muslims, what our attitudes are towards the apostates, towards the non-believers. This is what we have been commanded to do. Now, when he talks about things getting misinterpreted, look, the Hindu religion today is being misinterpreted too, for your information. Did you know that the Hindu Nazi Party, 1 out of every 5 Hindus in India today ascribe to the Nazi Party? It says over here that they believe Adolf Hitler is a kind of leader which India should have. And on this note, they are killing apostates. They are doing horrific acts of violence against Christians and Muslims. Radical Hindu, 1 out of every 5 Hindus ascribe to Adolf Hitler. So if people can misrepresent the peaceful religion of Hinduism, then I hope you can understand people do the same thing for Islam. And
Can I
look at
respond to the
apostate.
question too?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go, man.
Short and pithy, and then we must move to the next question. We have many questions, guys.
Okay, so I find it very interesting that Nadir Ahmed keeps deflecting from the actual topic, because the question is very similar. It echoes something that I have brought up in a big chunk of my opening statement, which is that it is no coincidence that people have this perception about Islam. People globally in the world have the perception about Islam that it is violent, dangerous, hateful, intolerant, backward, and so on. Whenever we talk about Islam, we talk about bad morals and violence and all that. There is no such thing that in the world people know any other religion for how violent it is, except for certain cases, certain incidents. Islam dominates predominantly. It dominates by far religious violence in today's time, and this is not a coincidence. This is what we mean when we're talking about how Islam is dangerous. It's also funny how Nadir Ahmed
Must be quick.
here. Okay, quickly. He accuses me of going outside of the Quran again, but all he has done for the last few minutes was to give examples from Jewish Virtual Library, the Hindus, and the Hadith, which doesn't address the issue at all. It's interesting.
Addressing these questions. All right, what I can do is, Nadir, since the original objection was against you, I can give you a very short and pithy response. But then what I need from you guys is, we've got so many questions, I probably need you guys to basically give your responses in half the time that you did in this case. So Nadir, I'll give you a chance really quick, if you want to respond, and then we got to go to the next one.
Well, I think the issue here, the Quran makes it very clear, never be an object of torment to the disbelievers. We are supposed to be good to them. And I would like to see how Apostate Prophet responds to this verse, chapter 60, verse 5, I quoted. Explain that to us.
Next up, Bruce Wayne, thanks for your question, said, Nadir, are you a Quranist?
No, I'm not a Quranist, but it's a matter of him being. I'm exposing the dishonesty of Apostate Prophet. I chased him out of the Quran because the Quran is a book of peace. The things which he's accusing the Quran of is not there. I can debate him in the Hadith, and we did go there.
Pithy. Soldier of Science.
Yeah.
Technically, it was a yes or no question.
Okay.
Soldier of Science says, Nadir, if you believe that rules in the Hadith were spoken in the Hadith as well as the Quran, is your argument kind of dishonest?
No, it's Apostate Prophet who's being dishonest, and he's actually telling stories. See, the problem is he's making up all these stories up here that the Jews were killed. Wait, I want to make one thing. See, I can't chase after every lie and expose it. I can't do that. He's got to show evidence for what he's saying. He didn't.
So Snake was right. Thanks for your questions. That follow up to the last comment, 8:12. Quote, I shall cast terror into the hearts of infidels, strike off their heads, strike off the very tips of their fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want me to answer that?
Yeah, it seems to be an objection to you.
Yep. So this is God who's going to punish the non-believers. This is exactly what we as Muslims believe. Hey, listen, if you guys do evil things, God will punish you, not us. What we have been ordered to do is chapter 60, verse 5, pray that you don't be a torment to the disbelievers, which Apostate Prophet is still running from. Please address that verse. How can we do terror when God says never do that? Go ahead, please.
Let me respond to that quickly. First off, that is a lie. That verse doesn't speak about the torment of Allah to the disbelievers. It speaks about the Muslims encountering the disbelievers in a fight, and Allah will cast terror into their hearts and will make them victorious through terror by making the disbelievers scared of Islam. So that is what the Quran verse actually says. This is such a blatant, huge lie. It's incredible. Secondly, his other issue, which is that the Quran says, pray that you don't become objects of oppression. This is basically something which appeals to Muslims and doesn't want them to be oppressed, which does not mean it completely forbids Muslims from oppressing others. It allows oppressing others, just hides it as fighting corruption.
I can give you a super fast response, Nadir, because the original question was for
I
you.
just responded to his offense, so we should just keep going on.
Now, if you oppress...
Let's see. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky because I don't want to gang up on anybody. If you're only defending yourself, I think that's fair. But if it's regarding the last question, which, Nadir, is this about what AP just said, or is this actually addressing anything about the actual question.
Oh, yes, about the question. I want to read the verse, chapter 8, verse 12, really quickly. It's in front of your screen. It says, it states very clearly here that, and remember when your Lord inspired the angels, I am with you, so strengthen those who have believed. I will cast terror into the hearts of the disbelievers. It is God who will do that, who will then strike them upon the necks and strike them upon fingertips. Those are the angels and the punishment coming from God, not from us. I want to make that very clear.
Next.
But the 491 spot check answers all of that, which he's running away from. Go
Next
ahead.
up. Thank you very much. Appreciate your question from Soldier of Science. Said, Nadir, to follow up, is the Hadith invalid and only the Quran to be followed, or are you just debating on the specific point regarding the Quran?
Well, the Hadith are valid, and even if you go to the Hadith, you will see Islam as a religion of peace. The problem is, apostate prophet was just making up things without providing any reference, any statements. They're all lies. So I couldn't chase after lies.
To the question.
Yeah, no, I follow the Hadith, but the strategy tonight was the topic was, is the Quran a book which is dangerous to the non-believers? So I had to stick with the Quran, and I want him to be honest and say these things are not in the Quran. He won't do it.
Cold Loyalty, thanks for your question, says, does the Quran advocate for hurting your wife? And if you lie, I will share the verse, they say.
Now, this is another hoodwinkle. The Quran does not teach to beat your wife, which is inside chapter 4, verse 34. Because what we see inside the again, another verse, I'll bring it up over here, it did speak exactly what it meant by beating your wife. It talked about picking up a bundle of grass and hitting your wife with. Let me go grab that verse for you so we can look and see. And when we look inside the entire Quran and Hadith, never has beating ever been more than this. But this is off topic. We're talking about how this is dangerous to non-believers. So let's stay on the topic.
Okay, can I respond quickly?
If this is about the exact question, that we can do it really fast.
Quran chapter 4, verse 34 says that men are in charge of women, and that if men fear arrogance of their women, they are supposed to advise them, then separate them, and then beat them. There is absolutely no mention of any tool, any little stick or anything at all. It simply says beat them in the Quran. That's all.
Next up, the Lion, or Nadir, because I don't want to gang up on you, the original objection was toward you. If you have a very pithy response, I can give you one.
I'm sorry, about what? What was the question? I was in front of us. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
All right, the next one. The Lion of Christ says, I love AP. Let's see. The Cold Loyalty, thanks for your super chat. Oh, we read that. Wolf Van Hinslick, thanks for your... Okay. Look at her serious questions. Vikyath M says, Nadir, what would happen if apostate prophet went to Pakistan and the people there have seen him rip up the Quran?
Well, what would happen if he did that is exactly what will happen if he tries to mock Ganesh or Hanuman or the Hindu gods. I'm sure the people will reprise. Remember, 1 out of every 5 Hindus ascribe to the Nazi party. And it's very important to understand that this is not about what Muslims or Hindus do. This is about what the Quran teaches. Now, the Quran makes it very clear that we as Muslims, we are not to be an object of torment to the disbelievers. Chapter 60, verse 5. And so that is how I live my life. And this is why Islam is a religion of peace and why it is no danger to anybody. Quran makes it very clear. Go ahead.
Next up, Bruce Wayne, thanks for your question, said, Nadir, why does the Quran say fight the disbelievers if it could have said instead fight the aggressors or something similar instead?
Because the disbelievers, it is in violence and religious oppression is inherent into the disbelievers. This is the position of the Quran. So basically, when you look at what the Quran is teaching here, it gave the very clear reasons which everybody's running away from. Chapter 4, verse 75. It says, what is wrong with you that you fight not in the way of Allah for those people who are suffering and crying and you hear out those voices? So who cares if it says disbelievers? It gave a very good reason to go out and fight. The Quran made it clear and force in the 491 spot check. If they offer you peace, or they're restraining their hands from fighting you, you don't fight those people. The 491 spot check. So it is irrelevant now if it says disbelievers or the bad people. The Quran makes it very explicit. And these are the verses which Apostate Prophet has been running away from this whole night tonight.
Next up, Patrick Lowen.
James, he just keeps. I mean, people are asking him because people don't find him very credible, and he keeps attacking me, and I'm just sitting here having to listen to all this. So,
It's true that. Yeah, Nadir, when you do like the poke the bear and run away, like you
I can't
you
help
can't
it.
just insult him with him not being able to respond.
Okay, go ahead and respond to 491 spot check. Go ahead.
Jay Mix.
Just-
Next up, Jay Mixon says, "Does the Quran give authority to the Hadith? Would the Hadith lose its power if not substantiated by the Quran?"
Well, I went to many hadiths today to strengthen and show you exactly what I was teaching. The problem is I can't juggle all these objections which Apostate Prophet is throwing at me. So I had to start with the Quran because this is where it starts from. And the issue here is not with me that I'm not going to the Hadith. I believe in the Hadith. The issue, the dishonesty of Apostate Prophet. He should have admitted tonight, I can't make my case from the Quran. Just admit that. He didn't
I
do
find
it.
it very funny. Nadir Ahmed basically just confirmed my point entirely. He said the Quran says fight the disbelievers because disbelief is inherently bad.
No,
and
not
immoral,
disbelief.
which is why
Oppression.
we should fight the disbelievers. Not just because they are disbelievers and because disbelief is bad, but because disbelief is oppressive, which is why we are supposed to fight the disbelievers.
No, it's
so
not
basically, fight the disbelievers. That's what you just
No. I didn't say that. I didn't. I said oppression and religious persecution
is inherent to disbelief. That's what you said.
And the suffering which we saw in the Quran in 475 and 2240, that's inherent in them. So God wanted to make the world
So it
a
is
better
It
place.
is inherent to disbelievers, to this disbelief, which is why we should fight the disbelievers. Why? How does it make it any difference?
Because it makes a difference because the Quran made it very clear, not the peaceful people. We saw from the hadith which you ran away from, I showed you in Sirah ibn Ishaq, there was a group of people who did not want to fight. So Muhammad went away from them, and you ran away from Ibn Ishaq, you ran away from
Incidents doesn't
491,
matter.
and you ran away from all these references.
If you have a response, AP, I can give you a really quick one before we go to the other one. But
If the Quran somewhere says if you are currently fighting, that refers to a very specific case. If you're fighting and they offer you peace, then accept peace. If it says that, that still does not invalidate the Quran's very explicit statement, which says, "Fight those who do not believe in Allah and Muhammad and his laws." Case closed. You have proven my point. Thank you. Let's move on.
we next up have one coming in from the Lion of Christ. Says, "We cannot understand the Quran without the Hadith and let me know if I mispronounce this, tafsirs, and yet it claims to be a clear and fully detailed book. It's utterly nonsense. If you need the Hadith and tafsir, then detail and clear agree." AP.
So I can answer this. First of all, it's not true that you cannot understand the Quran without hadith. This is another hoodwinkle. And so you can definitely, in fact, I gave you many hadiths tonight. I even went to Sirah ibn Ishaq. And so this is one example of a group of non-believers who Muhammad went to go fight the non-believers. But when they say, "Hey, look, make peace with him," then look what it says over here. Then he returned to Medina without meeting war. If people who are peaceful, Islam teaches not to fight against them. And this is a reference which Apostate Prophet has been running for over 2 hours now. And I've been asking him, where are all these peaceful non-believers from the Quran, Hadith, or Sirah, which were fought just because they're non-believers? And he's been running all night.
Next up, let's see. This one.
The question was kind of also addressed to me, right? At the end, it said AP, didn't
We'll
it?
give you a chance. That is true.
Hey,
That
can
I
you
was
answer that
confused.
challenge?
I was confused by that, but you're right. They do cite you, AP. So we'll give you a chance to respond, and then we'll go to the next one.
Okay, I will quickly just do what Nadir Ahmed has been doing the entire time and quickly share something here, which I think is very pleasant to look at here. Share my screen. Share which screen? This screen. So let's share this screen. Now look at this. Look at what this hadith here says. Can you see this? Here's an incident where Muhammad has established his rule over the region, over Mecca, and so on. Then there is a building called Dhul Khalasa, which is a temple in Yemen, a temple that is similar to the Kaaba. Muhammad says here, Allah's Messenger said to me, "Will you relieve me from Dhul Khalasa?" Dhul Khalasa was a house belonging to the tribe of Qatham called Al-Kaba al-Yaman, or the Kaaba of Yemen, whatever. So I proceeded with 150 cavalrymen from the tribe of Ahmas who were excellent knights. It happened that I could not sit from horse, whatever. It's just that the hadith is full of nonsense. But in the end, it says, wait, what is this? I'm sorry, I took the wrong hadith. Give me one second, please. Give me one second.
You know what? Take extra time to answer the challenge. Don't think. Okay, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Here. So the story happens. Muhammad sends his men to relieve him from Dhul Khalasa, which is a temple in Yemen. And here's what happens. So I left for it with 150 cavalrymen from the tribe of Ahmas, and then we destroyed it and killed whoever we found there. Then we came to the Prophet and informed him about it. He invoked good upon us and upon the tribe of Ahmas. So what happens is that Muhammad sends his men to destroy a temple. His men go and simply destroy the temple and kill everybody who is around the temple. Muhammad then says, "Thanks, good job. May Allah bless you." Case closed.
Oh, can I answer that?
Well, we do. The trick is we did give you a chance to respond.
You already responded in the beginning.
Question, but we do have a lot of questions. I hate to push it, but Vikyath M asks, Nadir, which is more peaceful, Buddhism or Islam?
You know, I don't know much about Buddhism. I would say Islam is more peaceful, and here's the reason why. Because just being completely peaceful and watching people suffer and die and being persecuted, and you sit aside on the sidelines, that's not peace. Peace, you also have to fight for those people who are oppressed and persecuted. Now, the reference which AP was pointing out, nowhere did it explicitly state
very sneaky.
that innocent people were being killed. It doesn't say that.
We're going to jump into Ezekiel Houghton's question, which is just checking. Okay, no. The Lion of Christ says AP showed Nadir Ahmed Quran 47 verse 35, which proves him wrong. What was that? What was 47:35?
Did I show that? Is that what it says?
That's what they say. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but didn't go back to it. A Quran verse which says, let me share that on the screen quickly here before we miss it. Since we are cherry picking Quran verses, let's cherry pick this one. Share screen. Here you have it. Quran chapter 47 verse 35. So do not weaken and call for peace while you are superior, and Allah is with you and will never deprive you of your deeds. Do not weaken and call for peace while you are superior.
Okay, can I answer that? Since this is a challenge to me.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick response. We've got many questions.
Okay, first of all, going back to the hadith which he quoted, nowhere did it say innocent people were being killed. Nowhere did it say that people were fought because they were non-believers.
You're breaking rules. We keep going back to that thing. You're
not going to let me. Okay, so going back to this one verse which you are quoting. Do not ask for peace if the non-believer. I'm sorry. Once you get in the upper hand, but Surah 4, the 491 spot check says, but what if they ask you for peace? And that's exactly what we found inside the Sirah Ibn Ishaq. They asked Muhammad for peace, and though he had the upper hand, he didn't ask them for peace. But when they came to us and asked us for peace, then they were granted peace, and Muhammad walked away. So there's no contradiction. It's in complete harmony. Go ahead.
Do you have a response, AP?
No.
Okay, we'll let that one go. Tippy Bear, thanks for your question, says, does Nadir practice, is this pronounced muta?
They're just insults. They're just insults. Move on. They're just
next.
Throwing rotten tomatoes.
Hindu historian says, Nadir, many Indians are not well informed of what Hitler did.
No, I don't think that's why the Adolf Hitler is a rock star in India. It's because they know what he did, and they want to do the same thing to Christians and Muslims. They are committing horrific acts of terror against apostates, and this is the hypocrisy of apostate prophet. He's talking about Muslims.
Now, wait, hold on a second. We got to move on. If you got to address the question, Snake was right. Has another one, says 839, quote, "Fight them until idolatry shall cease and God's religion shall reign supreme," unquote.
It looks like people are trying to help out apostate prophet here, huh? So what's the question?
They're not trying to help me out. They're just adding so much to everything that you have ignored tonight.
Yeah.
They seem to be just quoting this passage to
That's
try
okay. You
to
can have help, no problem. What's the verse again?
839.
But hey, I appreciate the help. There is so much that we can all put here, and he will still not see it. Even not even in the face of the fact that 95% of religious violence today is from Islam.
That's not true, actually. It's false. But anyways, can I address 839?
Right, yep.
So basically I think what's happening here, because he ran away from the Quran, so the people are trying to help him. That's okay. Look, it says over here, and fight them until there is no more fitna, and the religion, all of it is for Allah. Fitna here is referring to persecution, religious persecution. It's referring to fitna is any kind of horrible thing which is going on in your life. And when you read the tafsir of this verse, the explanation, and you read the hadith, this is clearly talking about a response to the religious persecution for 13 years the Muslims faced at the hands of the Quraysh. And that is the reason why they went out and fought, like the hadith which he quoted. But you will never find any example of people being fought because of their religion or innocent people. None of that exists in Islam. Go ahead.
That is false. Nadir Ahmed knows that he is lying. Fitna doesn't mean oppression. Fitna is a word that is commonly used for conflict or corruption. For example, Muslims refer to the first conflicts in Islam as the fitna. And when today two Muslims have a disagreement and start fighting each other, then that is called fitna. Fitna simply means corruption or a conflict. That is it.
Next up, Air Church says, Nadir, since you think references are so important, what is the reference for the story with Muhammad and the sword that you brought up?
Oh, okay. So let me get you that in front of you. Basically, where it says, I have been ordered to fight the people. And then when the man said, no, I will not convert to Islam. Basically, Muhammad said, okay, go ahead. But he said, I promise I won't fight you. Then basically, Muhammad let him go. And then he went back to his people and said, I have come from the man who's like the best or something like that. My references right here. This is from, you could click on this link over here. You'll find it in Riyadh al-Salihin. So this is, and you'll also find it in Sahih Bukhari. Let me go and click on that as well. So you can kind of look at the hadith over here. So that's my reference for that right there. Actually, let me email me na19711990 at gmail.com. I'll get you the exact reference, but you'll find it on that page. And this refutes apostate prophet right over here. Go ahead.
Next up.
It's very funny that Nadir Ahmed actually uses virtual Jewish library as a source to back up one thing. Everybody should go and look what Jewish virtual library says about Islam and the Quran.
Next up. Appreciate your question. This one coming in from none other than Steve, who has a complaint, says, please stop giving these arbitrary time limits to their answers. We don't need their answers to be shorter at all. Put it in the complaint box, Steve. Bay Queen, thanks for your question, says, how many battles fought by Muslims during Mo's life? Who's Mo?
Muhammad.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
There were something like 80 battles which were basically fought inside the life of Prophet Muhammad. But then it goes back to exact point that you will never find any battle where Muhammad instigated any of the wars. If you find battles being taken place inside the Quran, then really the issue here is the Quran is not to be blamed for it. Muhammad is not to be blamed for it. It is the people, because the question we have to ask is, why does a peaceful God who wishes justice and love and harmony for all now has to fight against these people? So the question goes back to them. You should ask, why are people being fought? Why does a peaceful, loving God have to fight against these people? When that God is desiring peaceful plurality of different views, and now he has to use violent, aggressive behavior against them. The
Okay, let
question
me
goes back to them.
respond to Muhammad fought over 80 battles throughout his life. He had a very busy, a very big military career. Many of them were also offensive. He sent his men constantly to rob caravans and to harass the merchants that would pass through his regions after he established his power in Medina. In fact, something that Muslims will often not mention is that the Meccan polytheists, who supposedly persecuted the Muslims, first left the Muslims in peace in Medina until the Muslims kept harassing them and attacking them, killing them, and breaking their peace, which eventually led to a major conflict. But thanks.
No
And
references.
next up, Bruce Wayne, thanks for your question, says, Nadir, do you consider the multiple hadiths about killing apostates peaceful too?
Well, let me ask a question here. Well, first of all, let me point out the hadith which I quoted about Muhammad. The people asked Muhammad for peace, and then Muhammad turned around and went back and did not fight them. The one which
Just
is
answer
running
the question. Come on.
That's from the caravan raids, by the way, which he said, "Oh, this is all
Just answer
robbery."
the question.
So the question, okay, to answer your question, we saw that apostasy is not in the Quran. However, this is found in the hadith. So my question for you, apostate, is how many apostates did Muhammad kill?
You don't need to ask me any questions. You don't need to ask me any questions.
He killed none.
The
You don't need
question
to ask me
was,
any questions.
the question
Hadith,
was
right,
for
can I
you,
talk?
Nadir.
You don't need to
Nadir,
ask me any questions. The hadiths are very clear. They say,
Okay, again, the issue
Nadir,
here is,
we have to just to engage with the question.
Sure, let me engage with the question. Okay, so basically, Muhammad never
you're being
killed
destroyed
any
and laughed
guys.
at here. Just answer the question.
All
What do you
right,
think
we got to
about
give him a chance to
the
respond to
hadith?
apostate.
Okay. Just chill, apostate. Okay, so no, absolutely not. Look, Muhammad never killed any apostate. This is not a teaching of the Quran. Now, you might find in a hadith where it says kill
You're
the
still
apostates or
deflecting. Just
something
answer
like
We got to
that.
give him a chance to
Please,
respond.
come on, guys. Listen, the issue tonight here is no, we don't have to kill the apostates. What is the importance here?
You are
The
still
important-
deflecting from the question. Answer the
All right,
question.
hold on
Apostate,
one sec.
come
I'm
on, let
gonna
me talk,
just for a
man.
second. I'm gonna put apostate on mute just for a moment. But here's the thing.
He needs to answer the question.
Nadir,
I'm answering.
if we
Yeah.
just stick straight with the question and
Yes.
like in one sentence, if you want to, it's
Well, give me 3 sentences. No, apostates do not have to be killed. Muhammad never killed any apostates. The importance is given inside chapter 60, verse 5, where it says over there that we are not to be an object of torment for the disbelievers. So going out and killing apostates, this is vigilante behavior. It is not from Islam. Again, this
next
goes
up.
back to the head of
All
state.
right, that was like 8 sentences. Barry, thanks for your question. Said question for both. If the Quran says fight the disbelievers, quote unquote, why should anyone care about the why? It seems like the reason is a huge red herring.
That's because it's just a very desperate attempt to defend the Quran from the very obvious. The Quran very clearly says, fight the disbelievers, fight those who do not believe in Allah and Muhammad and the Islamic laws until they are humiliated and they pay the jizya. So fight the disbelievers very clearly. We don't have to look at why we should fight the disbelievers or fight the disbelievers because of their disbelief. No, it says fight the disbelievers. Very clear. Any deflection, any reinterpretation of this is simply ridiculous.
Can I answer that? Yeah, so that's a very nefarious and malicious way to look at the Quran, whoever that speaker, the questioner was. The Quran made it explicitly clear. Well, here's the reasons why. The Quran made it explicitly clear, not the people who are peaceful. No, you don't do that. We found that in the caravan raid. We found that in the hadith all over. But what these guys are saying, ignore all of that. It's a fight the disbeliever. Okay, if this is nothing more than your own personal interpretation, and we chased AP out of the Quran because of that.
Next up, okay, you just have to get that last hit and run in. Okay, so Barry, thanks for your Tippy Bear says, AP, can you explain abrogation?
I could go into that. It's a very long topic. It's basically a teaching, a doctrine in Islam, which refers to the Quran often refers to how certain teachings, certain verses or teachings within the Quran were abrogated, meaning replaced or removed by other rules or other verses that came afterwards. And some earlier peaceful verses, this is also known in Islam, known throughout Islamic history, earlier peaceful verses were partially or fully abrogated by later verses which explicitly order to fight the disbelievers. And the Quran says nowhere that you are not supposed to fight those who do not fight you.
Gotcha.
You want me to answer that?
If you want a short and pithy response, and then what
Yeah, the appeal to abrogation would not have saved him tonight, because the verses which I gave him tonight are not abrogated, and this is an interpretation. The issue is, what does the Quran teach? And abrogation is a layer of interpretation people impose upon the Quran. We can talk about that, but that really wasn't the topic of tonight.
Next up, Patrick Lowinger, thanks for your support. And Soldier of Science, thanks for your question. Said Nadir, have countries who are a majority are countries who are majority Muslim progressing, specifically from a humanistic standpoint?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, countries like Malaysia would be a good example. But this is a little bit off topic, I think. I would want to stick to what the Quran teaches. And if you can't find it in there, then what the Hadith teaches. Let's stick it to what the scripture is teaching.
Gotcha. And thank you for your question. This one coming in from Tippy Bear. Super chat comments. She says, Muhammad commanded apostates to be killed, Nadir.
Yeah, we've already talked about this. Again, Muhammad never killed any apostates himself. This is not a teaching of the Quran. And what is the importance? The importance
Muhammad said in the Hadith, kill those who change their religion, and he allowed those who change their religion to be killed. That's what he says. We have authentic reports about that. It doesn't matter whether you have reports of.
Can I tell you why it does matter?
Give him a chance to respond.
Okay, look, you conceded tonight Muhammad never killed any apostates, though they were in his presence at that time.
I never conceded.
Okay, then challenge. Where are the apostate he killed?
I will not just make these false claims. I never.
Okay, go ahead. Give me an example. Give me an example of apostate who was killed.
You don't have to give examples of him killing people.
Where's your evidence?
When he clearly says, kill people.
The Hadith is there.
Look, people asked you about that twice, and you are deflecting from it.
No, I keep getting
You
interrupted.
don't have any evidence that he did kill people. Well, he said it. What do you think?
You did. You're right. Look, AP, we agree that the Hadith is there. He did say it, but we also have to agree.
Well, people need your
apostate.
answer to what you think about that statement.
Apostate.
Stop
Listen.
refusing to answer the question.
Okay, I am answering the question. Just let me explain to you. I'm agreeing with you. There is a Hadith which says this, but you have to also concede the fact that Muhammad, never practiced it. Okay, he never killed any apostates, and you know that. This is
I do
not.
not.
Teaching
Now, what do you think of the statement?
Okay, so for us, for people to go out and kill apostates, this is vigilante behavior. This is not Islam. Is not.
What do you think of Muhammad's statement to kill apostates? Just answer the question.
So when we look at when we look at what Islam teaches inside chapter, let me respond. Look, when we look at what for us as Muslims, what we are commanded to do, we are never to be an object of torment to the disbelievers. Chapter 60, verse 5.
What do you think about Muhammad's statement to kill those who leave Islam? Stop deflecting. Just answer the question.
Well, you see, it's more complicated than that, because when it comes to apostasy, you have to look at all the other issues. Okay,
must jump to the next question.
Okay.
This one coming in from, I won't get to all of the questions, but we are going to try to get these last two in at least. And sorry, folks, if I didn't get to your question, but we do just want to respect the time of the debaters, as this has gone longer than expected. So Smoking Tire said, question for AP, under what objective standards is he labeling the Quran as quote-unquote dangerous?
Not under objective standards. That's not... I guess the point here is that I'm supposed to have an objective basis for morality based on which I am supposed to grade Islam or the Quran as dangerous. Dangerous is not even something that would necessarily have anything to do with morality in that regard. Dangerous is very clearly observable. We are individuals who want to flourish, who want to live in peace. Islam, on the other hand, is an ideology which sets objective moral values, or supposedly objective moral values, which are out to establish its own moral system, its own order, and to disrupt our flourishing, which we want to live outside of Islam. In that regard, Islam endangers our flourishing, it endangers our existence and our happiness, and is therefore dangerous. That is all it is.
Gotcha. And we've got some love for you, Nadir, right here. Jay Mixon says, I know it might be hard to breathe for you tonight, but I commend your zeal and tenacity, Nadir. Thanks for making it a great show. So
I do too.
And we want to first, folks, I want to say our guests are linked in the top of the description, so you can hear plenty more from both of them. Also want to let you know, folks, if you happen to be a Muslim, we want to make sure that Muslim people are represented on Modern Day Debate. We usually have atheist versus Christian every night. Not every night, but close. So if you happen to be a Muslim debater, please email me at moderndaydebate@gmail.com if you'd like to come on. We do want to let you know you really are welcome here as a debater or just hanging out in the audience. We're glad you're here. And thanks for your question. This one coming in from Sheeples Phoenix. Let's see. For AP, please read Quran 3, verse 7, start to finish.
We can do those things at another time. I mean, Quran verse what? 3:7.
That's right.
I don't know. I want to go into reading different things here, but I don't know if you want to do that. It is he who has sent down to you the book, and it are verses precise. They are the foundation of the book, and others unspecific. As for those in whose hearts is deviation, they will follow those which are unspecific, speaking discord and seeking an interpretation. And no one knows its true meanings and interpretations except Allah. But those firm in knowledge will say, we believe in it, all of it is from our Lord, and no one will be reminded except those of understanding. I don't know, it depends on who the person behind this question is, what they mean to say by wanting me to read this message, but it could go into many ways. This verse basically says that much of the Quran is pretty vague, and that all you have to do is simply to say, we believe in all of it. The Quran echoes this in a different part where it says that you're not supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to simply say, I heard and I believe, sheepishly. And if you question it, you will be beaten with grass, like the wives that are beaten with grass. But thanks for the question. I appreciate it.
Gotcha. And thank you very much for this question. This one coming in from Spart344, longtime friend of the channel. Appreciate you, Spart. It says, for AP. Oh, sorry. Like these, finally, we got some questions for you. Says, do you think Judaism and Christianity have the same potential for danger? Would you advocate for staying away from #Abraham's God?
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Judaism or Christianity have remotely the same potential for danger. I do disagree with them in a way. I disagree with them in terms of belief and theology. I disagree with them in terms of their morals. And I think that Judaism contains many morally wrong things or dangerous things, while Christianity also does to a certain extent. But I don't believe that these religions are remotely as dangerous as Islam, or that they can be necessarily called dangerous or very dangerous. I don't think people should stay away from them. I personally choose not to believe in Christianity, and that's it. I don't think they are in any way comparable to Islam's direct war against humanity.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
Yeah, so I believe that the Bible, of course, explicitly teaches to kill innocent men, women, and children. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3. And that's why apologists like David Wood and the apostate prophet cronies and even Christian Prince and Sam Shimon are running away from debating topics like this. So I do commend Apostate for him to actually come forward, and he's not running away like those other Christian apologists, like which I named David Wood. So this is an open challenge for them to come and debate your religion. In my last debate with David Wood, he tried to change the topic in the debate.
We'll talk about David Wood later. Okay. So, well, I do want to give Apostate a chance to respond.
You shouldn't confuse. I agree that, for example, in Christian history was violent. Christian history was very violent in some points, especially when the Catholic Church in the West was in charge. A lot of bad stuff happened, and they based that on the Bible. In that regard, certainly, yes, it is dangerous. So are many different beliefs and many different ideologies. I simply do not think that they can be put on the same level as the Quran, because Nadir Ahmed is cherry picking here. But the Bible talks is a historical book which mostly talks about specific things that happened, whereas the Quran is a timeless order, speech of Allah for all humankind, for all times. An order that it gives is an order to the Muslim in the 21st century, whereas an order that the Bible gives is not an order to a 21st century Christian, especially not a Christian, nor a Jew, but rather to specific people in their own times, except for specific parts of the Bible. We shouldn't be conflating the nature of the Quran and the nature of the Bible here. I'm not defending it, but that is just a complete misrepresentation.
Got it. We want to let you know, folks, both of our guests are linked in the description. What are you waiting for? You can click on their links and hear plenty more where all of this came from. And so we are going to be back with a post-credit scene in just a moment. That's basically where I let you know about new upcoming debates that we're going to host. We've got a ton, you guys. It is going to be epic, and I am very excited, but want to say one last thank you. I want to actually several thank yous. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat. We just love having you here. Appreciate you. If you had a good time, hit that good old thumbs up button. And we want to say a monumentous thank you to our guests who they just do it because they love it. These guys are passionate and they're authentic, and so we appreciate these guys. We want to let you know, folks, as mentioned, encourage you to attack the arguments rather than the people. And so we do appreciate both of our guests. Thank you both, Nadir and AP. It's been a true pleasure to get to host you guys.
Thanks everybody so much. I appreciate it. Thank
With
you so
that,
much.
our pleasure, and we'll be right back, folks, in just a moment for that post-credit scene. Thanks so much, everybody. Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, what a great time. We love both of our guests. We are thankful for both of our guests, Apostate Prophet and Nadir, as they are passionate debaters. They are authentic. That's the thing, guys. We never have, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm not trying to badmouth it. So when people do devil's advocate debates, there's value there, no doubt about it. It's just not in particular our style. And so we just love that these guys are, they're sincere and they're passionate and they are, it's true that sometimes these debates are a little fiery. But I would say, folks, we've come a long way. This is way better than, beating each other in the streets, you guys. This is a good old debate. And at the end of the debate, you say, hey, I got nothing against you. I hope you do well. So we really do appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us. And so thank you everybody for being here. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat and just say thanks for hanging out with us. Oh my, you guys, we got a ton of people here and I'm pumped to see them. So thanks Mobius, or is it pronounced Mobius? Thanks for being here with us. Bruce Wayne, good to see you as always. RJ, thanks for being here, buddy. LR, good to see you again. Thanks for all your support, friend. And King 101 said that was incredibly juicy. I couldn't agree more with you, man. That was awesome. M, my boy. or lady, I don't know. It says, this channel is biased. Oh, amazing. Okay, thanks. We even love our haters, folks. There's nothing more flattering than when your haters even hang out at your channel. I was like, I thank you. We're just glad you're here. You're giving us that boost in the algorithm just by being here, buddy. And Sandy Pigeon, thanks for being here. Says, after show, I don't know of one. There may be one, but if you guys want to, you can post them in the chat. And so otherwise, we can also even, let's see. Oh, forgive me, I lost my place. I want to say hi to everybody. But Sandy Pigeon, good to see you. Joey E, talking that smack in the chat. And at Sathung Nagili, thanks for being with us, buddy. We hope you're having a great day. And then Hanan Razi, thanks for being with us. We do appreciate you hanging out here. And Abu Hizab, thanks for being with us, buddy. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And Augurer, thanks. Is it Augurer? Yeah, that's right. Thanks for being with us, as James is a sexy beta. That's right. Thank you very much. It's Beta Pride. MIK says fire. Thank you, MIK. Appreciate you. You're hanging out with us. And Mobius says, thanks to this channel. Thanks, Mobius. Appreciate that positive feedback. Taz, good to see ya. Fox Sushi, thanks for being with us. And it's so true. So much sushi out there is fake. A lot of people don't know that. You got to look out. And Doubting Thomas, thanks for hanging out with us. Says, all good. Abu Hizab, let's see. King 101 as well. Air Church, Doubting Thomas. Good to see you guys. Guys, it's like, I love seeing you guys. It's just fun for me, just because you guys are here. I'm dead serious about that. You guys make it fun for me, so I appreciate that. And let's see, Tippy Bear, good to see you. A long time no chat. And Stripper Liquor says, let's see, my family has Muslim friends. Would love to see more debates like this. That'd be cool, man. And thanks for being here with us, by the way. Zach, thanks for hanging out with us. Frank Dux, is that the name from... I can't remember the name of it. Is it Kickboxer? I can't remember the name of the movie. But anyway, we're glad you're here, Frank. Skyworks 600, glad you're here, buddy. And Lenny Cash, good to see you again. Says Christian Prince versus Muhammad Hijab. I've reached out to Muhammad Hijab. We might host him someday, but he prefers in person, and he wants Matt Dillahunty. That would be epic. I don't deny that. But Christian Prince, I know I've heard the name, but I don't know if I've ever talked to the person. Eric Nelson says, hey, James, glad to see you, Eric. Thanks for being with us. And Corey, thanks for being with us, friend. And Mark Reed says, awesome show. I couldn't agree more. Thanks, buddy. And let's see. Why Tirani says, thumbs up, smash that like. Thanks so much, Why Tirani. We appreciate you. Seriously, I do appreciate that support. You have no idea how much it means. It puts wind in my sails. And Gina from Cologne. Thanks, Gina, for hanging out with us. Glad you're here. Says, that's us. It is us. And Caligula, good to see you back. Notion Slave, thanks for hanging out with us. And Valentinus777, glad you're here, friend. Dean92, glad you're here, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Seriously, appreciate you. Bible Burner, wow. You're just like trying to trigger everybody. We are glad you're here, friend. We hope that you have had a good day. And MIK, thanks for hanging out with us. Salah Edine, let me know if I pronounced your name right or wrong. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Michael Keenan, thanks for hanging out with us. Says beta. And rolling on the floor laughing waffle says, amazing. Thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. Appy Frenzy, thanks for being with us. Said, why didn't you ask let's see. I don't know what you're saying, man. I don't understand your question, but we are glad you're here. And Scott Brescia says, let's take over YouTube, okay? Agreed, Scott. We have big plans. Modern Day Debate, we're doing big stuff. You guys, I want to show you this. See this right here? I'm pointing to this poster. Oh my gosh, this is going to be epic, you guys. So, as I had mentioned, Pastor Doug Wilson, who is pictured right here, that epic beard. It's like I'm stroking. But basically, he's going to be here on Monday. We're thrilled. I have huge respect. It's going to be epic. And I had mentioned that he was in the hit documentary Collision with Christopher Hitchens as they were kind of debate partners. So what an honor. We really are thrilled to have him. And Dr. Ben Burgess, we're thrilled to have as well, as he'll be back. And Wolf von Hinslick says, sorry for my comments. I'll be better next time. No worries. It's always rowdy in here. And Silver Harlow, good to see you, buddy. Says, thanks for another good debate night. Thanks, Silver. They said you're doing a good service here. That means a lot. I appreciate that, buddy. Patrick Lowinger said, for next time, what do I need to do to get my question asked? Patrick, man, I saw your question, and I don't know if you heard me. I said, thanks for your support. There was no question attached to your super chat, man. I didn't know if you were just trying to like give to the channel, or if you were like, I guess you like there's something glitched and your question wasn't in there. I'm sorry, man. For real, if you go back and watch the live chat, your super chat didn't have the question in it. So when you do a super chat, you could, if you wanted me to read that, you could put it like your question in the super chat. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. M says, I love you. Thanks, M. That's kind. Michelle Cherry, or is it Michelle Sherry? Let me know. Michelle Sherry KJV said, God bless, my first time here. Oh, well, thanks. We're glad you're here. Thanks for being with us, for real. And Christian Prince Ear says, good debate. You should arrange a debate between Nadir and a fella called Christian Prince. That would be fire. I'm open to it. Is there a reason that he hasn't debated you already? You guys got bad blood or something? I don't know. I mean, I'm open to it though. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, buddy. Matthew Simard, thanks for being with us, friend. They said, I'm keep an eye on your channel. The bell has been activated. Thanks, buddy. And that's true. Yeah, hit that subscribe button, folks. If you want to see more debates, we've got a lot coming up, you guys. I'm serious. We've got a big one next Wednesday too. It's basically going to be on the controversial topic of abortion. That is going to be epic. You guys don't want to miss it. For real. Make sure you come to that debate. That's going to have Kay Fellows and Ariel Scarcella. So we are pumped for it, as those two ladies will be debating. It'll be a big one. And so again, make sure you get a reminder so that you don't miss it live. We've got a lot of epic debates coming up next week. Seriously. Let me pull up the calendar so I can tell you guys about some of them, as I'm pumped about it. It's seriously, I'm just like, wow, he's got epic. We are arranging another debate with Matt Dillahunty, by the way. So last time we had Matt Dillahunty was about a month ago, and we were pumped to have him back against Samuel Nassan, who we were also pumped to have back. And so those guys have been really supportive of the channel. We've loved to have them on. And Y Tirani says, Jesse Lee, amazing. What the? Let's see. We've had him on before. If you haven't seen our debate with Jesse Lee Peterson, it is in our best of modern day debate list. Pony Girl says, new to this channel. This is really cool. We'll be back. Thanks, Pony Girl. Seriously, we're pumped to hear that. That's encouraging. We hope you had a great time, for real. We do appreciate you hanging out with us. The more the merrier, folks. Once in a while I mention it's that I'm working on my PhD. It's in psychology. I love psychology. I've done a lot of philosophy stuff, and I love these topics, and I just love hanging out with you guys. You guys, I tell the debaters this too. I always say, man, this puts me in such a great mood. I just enjoy it. And so thanks everybody for being with us. Don't worry, we've got plenty more debates to cover in terms of, let me tell you about some of what we got coming up, you guys. It may blow you away. You might be like, James, are you serious? That many epic events coming up? Oh yeah, I'm serious. So I am also wanting to greet you in the chat. Let's see. This is new for me. I'm like still learning how to do this, but let's see here. Bruce Wayne, there you are. And Jay Mixon, there you are, says, what are the worldviews of those ladies debating abortion? One, Ariel Scarcella, I don't know. I would guess maybe atheist. Kay is a pagan. So she actually believes that there are many, or at least more than one God. So, so that would be really interesting. And Abu, let's see, we got to say hello, and we are glad you're here. Is it pronounced Abu? Let me know. And Taliesin Oberlander, so glad you're here, says, dislike this stinky and smelly show to defeat modern day debate. That's true. A dislike is just as good as in the algorithm, folks. So what are you holding back for? Hit either the like or the dislike, and we appreciate the help. And Don't take your dislike back if you didn't know that. But Silver Harlow says, I'd be interested to see a Sikh on here, but I don't know. They're so nice, they might not debate people. That's interesting. That would be fun. I'm open to it. Joey E says Nadir versus Kent Hovind. That could be epic, but, Hovind likes to stick to creation evolution. I don't know if he'd be into anything else. John Doe, thanks for being with us, friend. And then is it Wad White or Jod White? We're glad you're here, buddy. And Deccan Dimitrovic, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. We're glad you're here, buddy. And let's see, Wolf von Hinslick says, I just want to hear you say beta. And Silver Harlow, thanks for your super sticker, buddy. Appreciate that. Thanks for your support, man. And Miserable Mercy says, James, you destroyed everyone. Thank you. It's like, I appreciate that. It's and Raffle rolling on the floor laughing. Waffle says, appreciate the amazing and beta beams. Zirafa, sorry I'm late. Thanks for your super sticker, buddy. Appreciate that. And Silver Harlow says, thanks again for your patience and moderation and your work in getting these debates together. You do us a good service here. Thanks so much. I appreciate that, buddy. And Sparks Kuipper. Sparks Kuipper. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. And is it Kazim Karid? Thanks for being with us, friend. Says, great show, James. I appreciate that. All credit to the debaters. Hey, Spider the Ateo. Thanks for your super sticker, buddy. Appreciate that. That was a nice way to start the super chats. And Daniel Reno says, is it still live? Yeah, we're still live right now. And it's amazing. And Gina from Cologne says, you should invite Michael Sturzenberger, a great German critic of Islam. Well, that could be juicy. So I'm open to it. It may work. Silver Pug 345 says, hello, James. Thanks for, I appreciate you saying, hey, buddy. Glad you're here. And, oh, you're right. That's what it was. It was Bloodsport, not Kickboxer. Thanks for you reminding me. Frank Dux. It is Frank Dux in that movie, right? I love older movies. Music Lover, thanks for being with us, buddy. And Standing for Truth is here in the house. There you are, buddy. And I'm behind on the chat. It's moving fast. Let me just be sure I caught up. Jay Mixon says, we got to get Matt debating on something other than the existence of God. He's starting to sound like a broken record. We can definitely get him on for a new topic. The next one potentially is going to be whether or not Jesus fulfilled Old Testament prophecies. So that's going to be really cool. And thanks for your kind words, Gina from Cologne, who said, this is a great channel. Seriously, that means a lot. I appreciate that, Gina. Seriously. And seriously, guys, seriously. And thanks to your kind words, Scott. And let's see, Matt Harvey, glad you're with us, buddy. Hope you had a good day. You guys let me know. And TBBT, we are glad you were here, my friend. We hope you had a great time. And George Odisho, thanks for being with us, friend. We hope that you're having a great day or night, probably night where you are. Religions ain't race. Thanks for being with us. Glad you stopped by, buddy. I think I could agree with that. And let's see. Rabil Raza, thanks for hanging out with us, Rabil. You are more than welcome here. And they said, Ryan Price said, is the Jesus debate with a Jewish person? Nope. It's with Samuel Nassan, who is a Christian from Malaysia. Yeah. So actually, I think he's from Malaysia, which is primarily Muslim, but he himself is a Christian, and that should be fun. Secular Rarity, thanks for your kind words. At Modern Day Debate, this was fantastic. Great work, like always. Thank you. Seriously, I enjoyed that. Tonight was a blast. And Jorgen, I'm so sorry, buddy. How do you pronounce it? Is it Jorgen A, or is it Jorgen? It's got to be Jorgen A. But we're glad you're here, friend. Thanks for hanging out with us. And let's see. We are excited. Let me talk to you guys about some of these upcoming debates. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, James, how could it be more epic than that? How could How could it ever even be that epic? Like, that's amazing. So we do have tomorrow, we're going to have our first debate of the Woke Wars series. So yes, you guys, you don't want to miss that. It's going to be epic. And then we might have a flat earth debate Sunday night. That's up in the air. Don't punish me, you guys. I know some of you are sick of the flat earth debates, but I promised Mark H. I promised him that he would debate Billy Zig, and then Billy didn't make the last one, so now I'm trying to make it up to Mark. He read Billy's whole book, and then Billy didn't show up. Total power move. But yeah. Canadian Catholic might be on Monday. We're working it out to figure out if we can find something that works for everybody. And then T-Jump will be debating homeschool or public school. That'll be on Tuesday. You don't want to miss that. And then we'll probably have another Woke Wars debate on Thursday, guys. You don't want to miss these. These are going to be good. The first one's going to be equality versus equity. So I think you're going to enjoy it. Then on the 27th, we are arranging a debate. This would be on the good old topic of INCEL. We found a person who identifies as INCEL, and he's willing to come on and debate. So he's going to debate a new person named Nama Cates. So we're really excited. It's going to be awesome. She has studied the topic a lot, and so that's going to be fun. Bible Burner said, when is the Dillahunty debate? It is, let's see. We're hoping for the first or second, but I've got to find out for sure. I've got to get back to Matter. I see if he's responded. Jay Mixon says, I think I'll come up with some incredibly difficult usernames just to hear James struggle through them. Yeah, I'm trying my best. Drew Anderson is in the house. Thanks for being with us, buddy. Appreciate you being by us, and thanks for coming to swing by. L says, you're Jen. L, I'm like, there's a lot of single letter usernames. And Jurgen A says, you can pronounce it however you like, buddy. I appreciate that. Thanks for flexibility, man. That means a lot. Let's see. You call me James. When I was a kid, they called me Jimmy. That was a while back, back when I was young and spry. I'm a 34-year-old man, you guys. And time just keeps getting faster. Serious. John Doe, glad you're here, buddy. Aziel, thanks for being with us. And Babcock Koramidin, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Glad to have you here. And yeah, you guys, we're pumped though. It's honestly, we do. Absolutely. Secular Rarity says, just a killer lineup, weeks and weeks ahead of great debates. That is so true. You guys really, we're changing it up because we've had a lot of the same topic, but we're mixing up the topics a lot now. And so, thanks Jay Mixon for asking. Said, how do we know if you're credited for the Twitch subscription? If we can view it, does it mean you get the credit? Actually, so what it means is you have to go through this process to connect where so sorry, guys. You have to connect you have to like set it up. I can try to find the link. There's a link that you have to like enable using your free Amazon Prime Twitch subscription. Once it's enabled, and usually you like do the work to enable it, and then it'll be like enabled the day after, you'll be able to go to a Twitch account, and then you can like click and say you want to subscribe, and it'll have a drop down menu where you then will want to click from whether you want to do a normal subscription or the Amazon Prime subscription. And you got to click on that. I'm so sorry I don't have the link. I can try to look for it. If you haven't done that yet, let me know, Jay, because it's important that you set it up, because otherwise that's how you get it to work. You got to go through, you have to like jump through a couple hoops first. I'm sorry about that. I wish it was a little easier. But yes, Jay Mixon says, James got some fire in the oven in store for the near future. I'm excited about what's in store. I am too, you guys. It's going to be epic. I'm seriously pumped. Doubting Thomas says, wow, 31. Are you saying that you're 31? That must be what you're saying. Because I'm not 31. I'm 34 in a month and 17 days. Scott Brescia says, Jimmy Coons. That's right. I used to be called Jimmy. That I was called like Jim in high school. It was always just Jim. And Silver Harlow says 34, basically a child. Oh, bless your heart, Silver. I appreciate you. Robert Page says, happy Friday, modern day debate, and all in the chat. Thanks so much. I appreciate that, buddy. And yeah, we're pumped to have you guys here. Xanos Carthage, good to see you again. Zach, thanks for being here with us. And let's see, go ahead, make my day. We're glad you're here, buddy. George Odisho, glad to have you here. Glad you made it. And let's see. Yeah, we're pumped, you guys. The Lion of Christ says, is there going to be another one? We're not going to have another debate tonight, but we will tomorrow night. And that's why, folks, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would hit that subscribe button and then click the notification button as well. That way, what happens is that little bell notification, it'll let you know when we go live as long as you click so that it has all debates. So you can choose where it'll say either all or personalized, where it'll be like YouTube is like trying to guess what you'd like. And then there's one where you could even select it so you don't even have it give you notifications at all. So, which is, I'm like, I guess maybe if you just never wanted to forget the channel exists, you could do that. I'm just like, why would you not want notifications at all? I honestly love YouTube. And I have to give them credit. They've actually been really good to us, you guys. They've never done us wrong. We still haven't even gotten our first STRIKE, which is a little surprising, to be honest, because I thought we would have gotten one by now with topics like this. But hey, we'll take what we can get. We're thankful. But yeah, we're excited, you guys. We really are serious. I hope you know I'm serious. Whether you be an atheist, a Muslim, a Christian, an agnostic, a Hindu, for real, we really do hope you feel appreciated. We hope you feel welcome. You contribute an interesting perspective that people, information, people from all walks of life. We hope you feel welcome, gay or straight, black or white, Republican or Democrat. We're glad you're here. We really are. And so we appreciate you 100%, you guys. You guys make this channel really fun. Augur says, 34, holy moly. That's right. Mark Reed says 34 is still young as crap. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Hey, I mean, it's true. There's a part of me that is a little bit almost scared, where I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm like, oh, I'm getting older. It just keeps going. But hey, there's advantages of getting older. That's for sure. I mean, you guys think about, the life experience and stuff. It's great. There's a lot of good things too. You just kind of figure out what to, so there are pros and cons with every age, right? And then Matt Harvey, glad you're with us, buddy. Graham T, glad you're here too. And oh yeah, you guys, did I pin it? Where is this thing? If you happen to be a Muslim debater, my email is moderndaydebate@gmail.com. And I just put that in the chat. moderndaydebate@gmail.com. If you happen to be a Muslim debater and you're like, hey man, I would love to debate, we're happy to have you on. We have not done a good job of balancing it out. Like I said earlier in tonight's debate, I said for virtually every single night is Christian versus atheist. And those are fun. Don't get me wrong. We love Christians and we love atheists. But we are, we're like, oh man, whoops. We haven't done a great job of having Muslim guests on. And same thing, like Hindu, Buddhist, you name it. We've got Brenton. You guys remember Brenton? He looks like Ron Jeremy. We love Brenton. He's helped this channel a lot, and so we do appreciate him. He's Buddhist. Manic Panda's glad you're here, man. And they say someone up there in YouTube land must like you, James. I think that's true, at least in the sense that we haven't gotten strikes. That's great. And You know, it's funny. I was listening to one time when I was in person. Bible Burner says, "Do you have kids, James?" No, I don't. I'm single. I've got a girlfriend, and I love her. Like, she's tremendous. She's got the biggest heart. Let me show you guys. So, I don't know. I think she'd be fine with this. She's very outgoing. So this is Frankie right here. This is me. This is Frankie, though, and that's her name. Her name is Frankie, and she's so sweet. So she is really sweet. Her name on her birth certificate is Frances. Her grandma calls her Francie. I call her Frankie. I just think it's a cute name. I think it's cute when girls have like names like, you know, like, I don't know, something like, let's say like Sally Joe. I don't know, when they like Bobby Joe or Ashley Joe or something like, it's like, I think it's kind of cute. But Jay Mixon says, "Yep, going to need that link, James. I can't figure it out." Oh yeah, I'll pull it up. I can do this. So how to, I just found it. Thanks for your patience, Jay. Sorry about that, man. So let me show you this, Jay. I'm going to put this in chat, and where did I go? There we are. So let me show you this, Jay, and hopefully it's useful. And I wish I could like help you more directly, because it is, you know, it takes a little bit of patience. But one cool thing, this link is silly. Like, what is going on? This can't be right. Usually our dearest friend, what? I'm working on it. Here's what you can do. I can't, the link is too big. It's crazy. Let me see if this will work. Nope. I'm amazed at how big this link is. Give me, I'm trying to post the link for how you can I'm trying to post the link for how you can. And it's hard, Jay, because the link is too big. Let me try to shorten it really quick. Andreas Arga, thanks for being here with us, buddy. We hope you had a great day. And Jay Mixon says, "I'll email you." You got it. Sorry. I'm going to use tinyurl.com as our dearest friend has recommended. Tina Turner. Do you remember her? tinyurl. Let's see. That's not, I'm trying to remember. Tina Turner wasn't, I'm totally off. I'm thinking about Michael Bolton right now. Not in like that kind of way. But, oh, here it is. Okay, Jay, bro, here. I've got the link for you, man. Thanks for your patience. Jay. Oh, thanks, man. Let me know if that works. I just put a link in the chat. And let me know if that's good or bad, Jay. I honestly don't know. That should work. It'll teach you how to do it. And I wish I could help you more directly rather than just giving you a link. But the cool thing is you set it up once. So anybody, if you have Amazon Twitch and you want to support the channel, and maybe you're like, "Hey, bro, I don't have a lot of like cash I can give right now, but I'm happy to support the channel." One thing you can do is smash the like button. That really does help. And so we appreciate when you guys do that, seriously. Another thing you can do is that if you want to learn how to use your Amazon Prime membership for a free Twitch subscription, because normally you have to pay to subscribe to somebody on Twitch, and you get like all these like little perks, but how to use your Amazon Prime subscription for a free Twitch subscription that you can use on Modern Day Debate. I just put that link in the chat. And then that basically will teach you how you can use your free subscription if you have Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can use it and it's no extra cost to you. But it helps us because each time you renew it, you have to renew it once a month. It gives Modern Day Debate receives $2.50. And I know you're like, "James, it's not even that much, man." Let's say we had 100 people who did it. I mean, it's not unrealistic, right? It's not. Let's say we easily could get 100 people who subscribe on Twitch, and I bet 100 people who are subscribers of Amazon, or I bet at least 100 of our YouTube subscribers have Amazon Prime, and they probably haven't yet used their Amazon Prime free Twitch subscription, which means, let's say those 100 did it, and let's say that they renewed it each month. That's $250 extra for Modern Day Debate each month, which is, as we had mentioned, we want to do a lot more in-person debates this summer. That's easily a one-way flight, or even depending on which city you're going to, that could be a round trip. Like that could be like let's say I fly up to Minneapolis from where I am, Denver, and we do it for the purpose of, like, let's say to host a live event in Minneapolis. We host a live debate up there and we stream it live for you guys. That easily we could fly there and back for $250. So it really does help, like for real, it can. And so we appreciate you guys doing that. Thanks for that support. It means a lot. And yeah, it's cool though. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just comes along with your Amazon Prime account, whether or not you use it. You don't get charged any extra or any different. And Albert Bitcoin, good to see you, my dear friend. Oh my. Albert is at it again. We're pretty sure Albert's a bot. We don't think he's a real person. We think, no offense, I hate to be so mean, but we think that that Albert Bitcoin is a bot of some kind. He just always says gibberish, So I'll read what he's saying. Quote unquote, often atheists tend to agree with some aspects of religions, including, for instance, the Buddhist way. Something to think about. So he's always just kind of on his own little track, talking about weird stuff that everybody else is like, oh, what are you talking about, man? Kyle P., glad you're here, man. Says, we talking about Christian Prince now? Christian Prince was here in the chat before, assuming it was the real Christian Prince and not a parody account. I don't know, but we are excited about the future. Let me tell you about some of the other upcoming debates that we have coming up, you guys. That will knock your socks off, for real. We're just really pumped about this. So in case you want to know about other ones, we, as I mentioned, have the new Woke Wars series coming up. And then we are hoping to get Matt Dillahunty versus Sam Nassan. I already mentioned that, on whether or not Jesus fulfilled Old Testament prophecies. Then we're also hoping to get Hovind against Jackson Wheat. I don't know if they're going to go for it. I haven't heard back from Hovind's secretary. I don't know who knows. Kokesh we might have on. We're going to try to get Adam Kokesh to team with T-Jump for a Woke Wars debate. Then we're going to try to get Shmuley Botea, I think it's pronounced. So he's a rabbi, a pretty famous rabbi. And we're going to try to get him in a debate with Randolph Richardson. That's not confirmed. I haven't even reached out to Mr. Botea. So no promises it's going to happen, but we're going to try. And I know Randolph is in. He's up for it. So yeah, we're excited though. It's going to be epic. We're thankful for all you guys making this awesome, for all of your support. Thank you guys. You make this fun. Let me know if there's something I can do to make your day easier. We love you guys. We appreciate you, seriously. And so with that, yes, we are pumped. And for real, I had heard this. It's common that like half of the let's see. Augur says, James, live stream how to do the Prime Twitch subscription. I'm also an old man. Oh, that's a good idea. I mean, they do have pictures in the link. Like it's pretty, like the link that I gave, that I put, is like, it really is pretty good in terms of showing you how to do it. And the other thing is, I can't show you because I don't have more than one Amazon Prime account. I do have an Amazon Prime account that I've done it for, but since I've already done it, like for you, that's not very useful because it won't show you how to do it for the first time. Want to say thank you guys, everybody. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your love. And yes, you guys, you don't want to miss it. We're going to have a lot of epic debates coming up. And so you guys, it's going to be great. Thank you guys for all your support. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And I will tell you what, folks, I mean, if we get to 405 likes, I will lift the curtain behind me and show you what's behind it. If we get to 405 likes, I will show you, no joke, this is a curtain behind me, and I will show you what's behind the mystery curtain, you guys. Are you in? Are you in? Kyle P says, hey, Bitcoin. I saw one new like. Thanks for that. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's see. Can we get to 405? And I want to show you guys what is behind the mystery curtain. You guys, 400. We're at 400. And then let's see. Taliesin. Whoa, we're at 405. We got it. Thank you, guys. Okay, I'll show you. For real. It's pretty cool. So this is just my desk. Let me show you. This is just my desk. And this is like my like, so basically I've got some books here. It's hard to see them. I've got, oh, no, okay. So this is my mirror, you guys. I use this mirror to check my hair throughout the day constantly. No, that was a joke. Come on. And then this is my Schmiegel. Do you see Schmiegel? Golem? It's been so long that I'm like, it is pronounced Golem or Gollum, right? But basically, yes, this is my little whiteboard with, it's got writing on it. A lot of writing. I'm not the most organized person. I mean, I need that. Let's see. Pure potassium. Don't go too low on your potassium, for real. And always have a candle handy, you guys. Smells tremendous. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys, honestly, for all the love, and thank you for everything. You guys make this fun. You guys, honestly, it's a blast. I appreciate you. And so, you guys, honestly, you guys just make me, you guys make me laugh. It's just always a fun time with you guys. And so, I love you guys. Thanks so much. I will see you tomorrow. We'll be back. It's going to be epic. And so, Joey E says, you should lose the black curtain and stick to the nice shelves behind you. I don't know. But yes, Platium says, oh my gosh, we have to save James. What do you mean save? From my candle? I'm confused. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. It's honestly a blast. We appreciate you. And then we want to say, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. You guys just put me in such a great mood. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Love you guys. It's like 8 times of saying goodbye because I just enjoy it and I don't want to leave. But it's that I just enjoy it so much that it's like when I'm leaving, it's almost like a girl, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, like, no, you say goodbye first. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys. Gina from Cologne says, take care. Thank you, James. That means a lot. Thanks, Gina. Seriously. And Platium says, just joking, James. Platium, I'm dead serious. Thank you for all of your support with the Discord. It has been so hard for me to learn how to do Discord, and I'm sorry for that. It's not that I don't care about the Discord. I know a lot of people enjoy it. I'm new to the platform. It's just that I don't know how to use it. So I'm so sorry that I've been behind on messages. And so thank you for your patience and thanks for your help with that. The Shire Crier, thanks for being with us, says, thanks, James. Appreciate you. Thank you, friend. And Andrew Kroll, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming by. And yeah, say Fox Sushi says, bye-bye. No, you hang up. That's right. That's what it is. No, you hang up. Caligula, thanks for being with us. And yeah, Mark Reed, thanks for being with us. Says, thanks, James. Have a good night. Fausto Toribio says, no, you say goodbye. Thanks, Fausto, for being with us. I appreciate you guys. It's always fun. Seriously, you honestly make me laugh. Platium says, I'm willing to run you through it someday after you get your PhD sorted out. Good luck. Thanks, Platium, for your support. Seriously, I appreciate you being flexible and patient and kind. And so, yes, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable, everybody. That was such an epic one tonight. Seriously, wasn't that a blast? That was a great debate. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. You guys make it great. You guys make it fun here. And so I thank you for that. And Jacob Sherian, let me know if I mispronounced it, says, stay blessed, James. Thanks for your kind words, Jacob. Seriously, that means a lot. You as well. Stay blessed. And thank you, Everybody, though, I seriously appreciate you guys. Albert Bitcoin, thank you so much. Albert says, that is an absolute truth that no one may deny. He's a bot. He's got to be a bot. All right. Thanks, everybody. And then he said something to think about. Oh, man. I love you guys. Seriously. Augur, thanks for being with us, buddy. I hope that you have a great night, and I just hope you're just feeling love, and we hope we appreciate you being here. Taliesin Oberlander says, dislike the stream to boost James's potassium. Hey, it might work. Matt Harvey says, take care, James. Modern Day Debate. We really do appreciate the sharing of intellectual transfer of neurons. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. That means a lot. So appreciate you guys. Love you. And pumped for the future, you guys. We have a vision. We all agree on this, folks, no matter what walk of life you're from. Christian, atheist, black, white, gay, straight, Republican, Democrat. All of us want to see fair debates hosted on an equal playing field, and that is what we are going to do at Modern Day Debate. And when all the smoke and dust are clear, all the smoke and dust is clear, you're going to see that vision become a reality. We're going to be a major platform on YouTube, serving the YouTube community that way by hosting fair debates, always striving to be as fair as humanly possible, as everyone deserves a shot to make their case on a level playing field. And so we are excited about that. We're also excited about making the world a better place. And that's why we love those like once a month charity streams that we do for example, Save the Children. Those are things we all agree on, folks. Like, we really are more alike than you think. We do have a lot in common when you think about it that way. And so my folks, my friends, whether you be Christian, and Nick, thanks for we're glad you're here, Nick. Came in late, glad you're here. And Delta November, glad you're here, friend. Thanks for being with us. But yeah, do want to let you know, folks, as a result of that vision and the fact that, hey, we have all that in common, folks, whether you be Christian, atheist, gay or straight, black or white, trans, or what's the other word, non-trans, cis, I don't know. But I do want to let you know, no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life, we're glad you're here, folks. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. And we will be back tomorrow, and it's going to be even more epic. It just keeps getting more epic. Take care, everybody. Love you guys.